Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Core. This is Core. We're talking about video games, and we are the first podcast rated #1 in customer satisfaction among middle-aged white men with beards. They're all into us. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
We feel good brushing up against the beard. That's why.
I like it because it looks like me.
That represents me. Well, anyway, we're here.
Finally, me. I have a voice.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one thing I can say about white men with beards, silenced for too long, John. Just not enough. Not enough exposure.
I wake up every day feeling I don't have a voice.
No. But it's good. They're finally getting their wherewithal. But we're happy to be here.
Now we have 3 of them. We got three voices, and we're ready to go.
Three beards, 3 voices, 3 white men. Bam. Let's go. Okay, couple things. Only one thing. The Microsoft has an indie event coming up, and I forgot the name of it. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Microsoft Indie.
Indiana Jones and the Microsoft Direct of Doom.
I can't find it, but it's basically an Xbox event all around indie teams. Instead, like this last one was like big AAA business, and the next one's all about that. So we got a lot of questions between last week and this week whether or not we would cover that like we've been doing these things. And the answer is yes, if it's at a time that makes sense. I just can't find it. If anyone in the chat...
Microsoft's Indie Focus ID at Xbox returns February 20-something or other.
That's
25th.
It. Okay, so sometime late in the month, we'll figure it out, but I would like to do that. And we'll have as much of all 3 of us as we can ever muster to have at those things. And bring it to you. And Sony and anyone else doing them. The April Switch one I want to definitely do. The 2nd, I think, of April. Something like that.
I linked it.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Developers.
Oh, okay. That's the one bow. I'm going to have to put that in my notes. There it is. Microsoft's Indie Focused ID Xbox. This could be good. It's going to be stuff from 11-Bit Studios, Critical Reflex, Daedalic Software, Panic, PlayStack, and more. Team 17's on here. Ooh, Raw Fury. I know all these guys because I buy all the dumb little games that no one else plays. So I'm excited about this. Bring it on.
All right.
Anyway, that's coming up soon. For now, though, let's dive into today's news. A few things happened since we spoke last, some of them that very day.
Yep, while we were speaking.
That's right. One of them's a little sad, though, and we'll do it first. The voice behind Darkest Dungeon 1 and 2, Wayne June, has passed away. Super big bummer to hear, given the speaking of iconic stuff. We were talking pre-show about iconic soundtracks in games. If the question would have been about iconic voice actors, this dude shot from obscurity to top 3 in a game. That's all it took, was that one game for him to get there. You've heard him before a million times. He is the guy that says things like, the dirt here is relevant to the evil nature of the basement, or whatever he says. All the things he says.
Yeah, like fragile, like a sparrow's egg.
That's exactly right.
Like, stuff like that.
You actually nailed it. Thank you for that. I was struggling there.
Like a spirit's egg?
A sparrow's egg.
Sparrow's egg.
But a spirit's egg.
A sparrow's
Fragile.
egg.
Spirit like a sparrow, sure. Anyway, passed away. It was announced on Blue Sky by creative director Chris Barusa, I think is how you say his name, who described June as ancestor, academic, artist, and friend. And a really nice sort of tribute to the dude. I don't even think you can make... Actually, now hearing John, maybe you can hire John. But I don't think you can make like a third one of these games and not have that guy.
I think you got to go a different direction. You can't imitate that. Mm-hmm. Like it's just too iconic. It's too good.
Yeah, it's really good. So sad day.
Is this an acceptable use where we can do AI generation with permission from the family?
Ooh, good question. If
they were okay with it, but I don't know. Well, funny enough, that was another story that came out this week. It's not listed here, but it leans into it. Harrison Ford talked about this very thing. When it came to the voice that Troy Baker did for Indiana Jones in the video game. And he said it was a great performance and proof that we don't have to lean on AI to keep voices alive.
Yeah.
So it's not the exact quote. I don't have it in front of me because I didn't know we were going to talk about it. But he basically said, Troy Baker's performance is proof that you don't need to lean on AI for this stuff.
Here's his actual quote, and it's pretty much what you said, but there's an interesting little bit in here. He says, "You don't need artificial intelligence to steal my soul," he says. But I'm sure he said
I knew there was some salt on there. It
Yeah.
came from Harrison Ford. I can't imagine
his
it
voice
wasn't
belongs in a
little
museum.
salty.
Anyway, it says you can't you can already do it for nickels and dimes with good ideas and talent, says Ford, before referring to Baker's performance as the iconic indie character. Quote, he did a brilliant job and it didn't take AI to do it. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Hire John. He could be your Darkest Dungeon 3. He's your guy.
I don't want to be that guy.
You know?
I haven't fully thought this through yet either, but you know.
Oh, hot takes.
Be that guy.
They didn't use AI, let's say, but it's not like Indiana Jones looks like Troy Baker. It looks like Harrison Ford. You know what I mean? It's
A little bit of both. If you look at it,
you know.
Well, see, that's different though. That's not AI. That's just mocap stuff they're doing. So when they capture his performance, and if you look at him do it, you go, oh, I see a little Troy Baker. It's like Troy Baker's wearing Harrison Ford makeup. Is how it feels to me.
It's like, where does the line cross where we go to that uncanny valley, right? Because I think they did young Leia and young Tarkin, or not young Tarkin,
but young Leia and regular Tarkin.
Regular Tarkin. I don't know that it was AI, but there was definitely some misgivings about like, just get a new actor. Why did you spend all this money recreating somebody for a shot when you could have just, hired another actor, right? So,
yeah, I think it just sort of depends. Like they got not lucky, but the choice with Baker was right for the voice and the mannerisms and the acting. I think it's more than just an impression of Harrison Ford. Like I think it's not fair to just call it that. But
I think that one of the things, it's just, we hesitate to do this because it's not a measurable. It's just a vibes check. Like, the vibes will be off on something and everyone will be like, this technology is stupid and we hate it. And then the vibes will be on and people are like, cool, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's less to do with the AI, but more to do with the Star Wars comparison in this, because they could have just made Indiana Jones look like Troy Baker because he's the actor portraying him. Why did he have to look like Harrison Ford? Well, they were capturing that, right?
And they're selling on it. I mean, literally, you're selling.
But there's other instances where they've done it and people have been like, So I'm just saying, I don't know if there's someone who can do what Wayne. AI probably can't even do what Wayne Ju did. Let's be real. I'm just maybe making debate for the sake of debate.
Well, AI can. I've trained. So I'll tell you, I trained his voice to see how it sounded. I didn't use it for anything, but I took some from the games, put it into this model.
We all played with AI. It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, and it came out sounding just like him. So I'm convinced it would. It's just a matter of, for me, this is an easy answer. The technology exists. So is the family, he or his family, would they approve of such a thing?
The big thing
and
is
get
the
paid for it, and that's
which
it.
Has been the whole problem with AI from root to.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Darkest Dungeon's not going to do it without their permission. I don't think. If they did, they would be.
Yes,
they'd
they
be
would
so
completely
mad.
be there. I expect them to be do this ethically, and if not, they'll just get another guy. I'm sure there's other there's plenty of white guys with beards whose voice can be.
Yeah,
we'll just get John to do it. I mean, shit, John can nail it.
It was pretty good.
John needs some work. Red Hook Studios.
I do actually. Glorified babysitter is my current.
I know you want to be humble right now and be like, I just do some voices for fun, but we need to get you some money. We need to buy you Lego.
John's bona fide good voice actor.
John needs Lego and toys. He has to spend all of it on raising a family. We need to get him some beer money.
Yeah, why not? Well, anyway, condolences to his family and everybody involved there. It just sucks. We don't know much more about it. I think he was he was older and amazing though. Like it's just nothing like it in games.
Yeah,
AAA down to the
transform the game.
Oh, without any doubt.
It's one of those things you can put on his performance a level of success that game experienced. It wasn't.
He was
arbitrary.
the only voice in that game too, right? It's not like the NPCs talked or.
There's a lot of grunts and yells, but that's it. It was just him.
Yeah.
2, I couldn't tell you because I can't remember. I've been playing 2 again, but I don't think I've only heard him talk. Yeah. None of your characters talk. So, and it's just so well integrated into the look and the feel. I mean, props to the artist too for sort of matching the tone. Whoever I don't know where the chicken or the egg is in that scenario, but it's like the perfect storm for them, and it's so good. Those games are great on their own. Yeah. But it's
I wonder how much coaching was needed. Like they've got the right intonation, but they're like, no, we need you to sound more sad or more. What's the sound? Why would you describe the sound of his voice?
I don't even know how.
Ancient wizard.
Forlorn, haunted.
Yeah. They're like,
sorry.
you all right? Jeez. What the hell was that?
I didn't mute fast enough. I couldn't find it. I was clicking everywhere.
It didn't sound like a normal sneeze. It sounded like something broke or something bad happened.
I don't sneeze normally. It's like I'm having a seizure every time I sneeze.
Well, here's the cool thing. If you wanted to go look for Wayne June, he's done some Lovecraft voiceover stuff, Call of Cthulhu over stuff. He's done the version of the Raven. Like, he's very much that whole vibe. That's what this game, that's his character. Like here, I'm just gonna play a little bit. I'll give him a little love here. Hold on.
By H.P. Lovecraft. Read by Wayne June.
Let me skip ahead here. Hold on.
Mrs. Corey, unable to extract more information, began telephoning the neighbors, thus starting on its rounds the overture of panic that heralded the major terrors.
So that's a little more him just being, chill, being himself. Yeah. But then if you play, here we go.
Sorry, guys. I keep not finding the mute button.
I want to get some audio here if we can get some. No. Hold on. No, it's somebody being dorky with their dumb video. I want him talking. That's what I want. Okay, here we go. How about this?
Do a search for. Okay.
Interview. Is there an interview?
I don't hear anybody talking.
All right, he's coming. Hang on.
There is a place beneath those ancient ruins in the moor that calls out to the boldest among them. We are the flame, they cry, and darkness fears us. They descend, spurred on by fantasies of riches and redemption.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
It's the delivery, it's the performance, also major credit to the writing, too.
Yeah, that's fair.
Writing is also exceptional.
Yeah, it's really good. So go seek it out if you haven't played those games. If you don't want to play him, listen to his voice. And rest in peace, Wayne June. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth has sold very well on Steam. John hopefully writes here, maybe Squeenix can stop being disappointed now. I have a feeling nothing will. I have a feeling it won't matter. But yeah, it's selling good. So they went from PlayStation, where it sold well, to another platform where it's selling well.
Well, yeah, it sold well on PlayStation, but it was famously talked about with didn't meet expectations, under-delivering, that kind of terminology. But by all accounts, it is performing extremely well on Steam and is maybe opening... I mean, we already know that Square Enix in general is getting better about putting their titles on multi-platform. Obviously, there may be deals in place that prevent... I'm hoping that it would be really cool if Part 3, whatever, comes out. If that could come out day and date with a Steam release instead of a year later, but that might be a deal that's already signed. That could be something that they told Sony at the time, no, we'll give you a year exclusivity before we put it anywhere else. But in general, it seems like the multi-platform strategy is working out really well for Square Enix, and we're going to probably see a lot more of that going forward.
I think it'd be great if it was day one on all their games moving forward. You're probably right that there's some deal in place for this series, this particular 3-parter. I would guess. I don't know that for sure, but it just seems like there's probably a deal in place. But it'd be nice if everything else just flowed. And I think a few things have recently. Some of their releases have just come out on everything at once. And that's good. That's good for players. It's also good for them. So maybe quit whining, Square Enix. Calm the F down.
Disappointed.
Yeah,
you crybaby.
Celebrate for once.
Yeah, take a win. Take a W instead of all those L's.
Yeah, start looking more like Capcom over there, just polishing up their dollars. That doesn't even make sense.
No.
It's a Japanese company.
I kind of liked it,
don't polish a dollar, but whatever. That's what I said, and I stand by it. And
polishing dollars.
Yep.
Capcom's over there just doing good deeds, and you know what? You guys are making fine games. You should be in the same boat. So.
Can our meme makers make a fake CD cover with explicit language? John Jagger, polishing dollars.
Yeah, dude, polishing dollars. I like it. Over there, they'll just call it scrubbing your yen or something like that. But don't worry. We'll find a good international audience for your hot new rap hit, John. So don't worry about it. Anyway, yeah, it's selling well, and it sits on my hard drive and waits for me to hit play, and I really should do that soon. Yeah, I want to force myself to finish Metaphor before I start another big, giant, sprawling RPG. But I will admit the temptation.
Well, good news. There's 5 of them coming out this month.
Ah,
Yeah.
You know what I can't stop hearing is how awesome that new Deliverance 2, the sequel thing to the
Come. Yeah.
low.
I know.
low
I'm
to-
like, oh no, please don't be a must not miss type game. I'm trying to miss it.
It sounds like it might be like one of the big ones of the year. People are going to talk about it at ARN for Game of the Year, like for real, like big deal. This game. And I'm like, not now. I got Civ VII to worry about. I got Avowed coming right out after that. Like, I got stuff to do in the month of February. I can't just
And Pirate Yakuza, don't forget.
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to play Rebirth right now. I'm just like, oh my god,
It's a lot, man.
There's a lot of single player adventure games like coming out this month.
I was gonna say, you usually don't have a lot.
First Berserker Kazan next month.
No, right? Yeah, John played that demo and liked it. That got me thinking.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. Februarys are usually, or at least they felt anyway in the past, like kind of slow. Not anymore. This is when everything gets pushed for their delays.
Oh, this is Christmas. This is video game Christmas happening right now. Do you like games? Their chances are there'll be one you enjoy this month.
Yeah, choose one of 400 now, today.
Yeah.
No wonder Square Enix complains. Everybody's so much competition now. It's different than it used to be. Anyway, I want to play that. But anyway, they're making money, and that's good. It's good for gamers that Square's having more multi-platform success. And I see a lot of my friends playing Rebirth right now, so a little evidence as to what we were talking about.
Did you get started on it?
Nope, still waiting to hit play. As I mentioned, I'm not. I just really want to beat Metaphor, and it's dumb because I know I'm going to play Avowed this month, so I don't know why I just don't play it. I should just hit play.
You don't want to because the second you said I was going to beat Metaphor, and we all said, well, that means he won't. You just don't want to prove all those people right.
I hate it. I hate that feeling.
But you're going to prove them right in the end.
I don't want to, though.
Well, do what you want and just let people be right about it.
I don't want to, though. I want to beat it. That game is special. I mean, I could do it over time, but I don't know. I need to do like John and go, the next 100 hours are dedicated to this thing. I will only stop for baby needs this, mom needs that, stuff to do, but then I will go back to doing it. Like, I need to get that mindset. Instead, I'm like, ooh, shiny indie from no one I've heard of before that's getting 98% on the thing. I'm going to go play that game for a minute.
Yeah, here's like a homeless guy library. Let me play this.
That's what I do between big titles. That's almost like my reward for getting through a longer title. Is it's like I will tunnel vision and make my way through a big long role-playing game, and then I get done and I'm like, oh, that's over, and I get that sadness of like, oh, story's done. Well, time to play a little bit of 100 different things until I go to the next deep dive.
Yep.
Yeah, but right now the amount of releases is out of control, like completely. Games industry needs to like spread out their games better.
Do you think see, that's actually a really good question. There's a ton of really big titles coming out this year, but they're all coming out in these zones of time. It's like, here's a ton of them this month. And then I think March is a little quiet, sort of. And then
March is,
I don't know. I haven't heard Core's Game of March segment.
That's true.
But
that's true.
When we get there, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
No. There's big Kazan's coming out, and in March, as well as Atom Fall.
Yeah, but neither of those feel main. I mean, I'm excited about those, but they don't feel mainstreamy to me. Like
Football Manager 25, Age of Mythology Retold, Split Fiction, Dragonkin the Banished.
Age of Mythology Retold's already out. That game's out. Why is that so
They're
much?
doing a Suikoden 1 and 2 HD remaster? Oh my gosh, that's big.
Yeah, but hold on. Why is Age of Mythology showing up in March when it's already a thing you can play on?
It's coming on PS5.
Oh, all right.
That's an Xbox game on PS5.
If we're only speaking about big releases, I mean, depending on if you like 2 Point games, 2 Point Museum's coming out in March.
No, I am looking forward to that. I like
Assassin's Creed Shadows is a March game.
Shit.
I mean, yeah, March is kind of. I mean, it's not as nuts as it is now, but like, it's not relenting.
Forget everything
it's
I
not
said.
as bad. It's not as
April is Claire Obscure Expedition 33.
Oh, right.
Crashlands 2.
And then
that's about it, though. It does slow down in April, and then May is Doom, and then I'm not seeing much else like that. Like, I'm seeing a lot of avoidable stuff.
Oh, I was going to tell you guys, you know how I was so excited last year about Kill the Justice League Suicide Squad thing?
Yeah, one of your most anticipated games of 2023.
Yeah. Show listener Shanna.
2024, sorry.
Yeah, it's 2024. Shanna fan ended up with an extra code for some reason, sent it to me, and said, now you can finally try it. Game. I know, he really does.
He likes just to troll the trigger the libs or whatever.
I'm going to give it a shot. I don't know what to expect at this point.
You might like it.
I'll bet I do like it.
There are people who like it. That game, I said my piece in the Discord about that game, about me thinking that game looks like garbage. And it had more defenders than I expected. But I don't care. I have no interest in playing that game. In fact,
spend $80 and don't want to feel foolish. You know,
we had somebody on Discord who's like, "You should try it, John." And I was like, "Please don't even buy it for me. I'm not. If you bought it for me, I wouldn't play it." And someone in our Discord said, "I'll put that to the test." And then they friended me on Steam, and I sent them a message, and I said, "Seriously, please do not
buy it.
I know it's not a lot of money." But please don't buy it for me. I am dead serious. I am not going to play the game. And it's not worth spending the $2 or whatever they're selling it for these days on me. Please don't.
You're so unexcited that you don't even like the idea of it showing up in your library as something you own.
It's worth it because people like it in the mention on the show. Like it's a little bump. It's fun.
Sure.
You get a little like, oh shit.
Little something.
We're used to it because we're on these shows, but people do appreciate that kind of thing.
Yeah. And look, we've all liked a game that is maybe not widely popular. This show might be based on one of those.
Yeah.
But so we've all been there, and it's always tempting to say like, oh man, if more people try this, they'll like it. And the other thing we always hear is well, you didn't play it, you don't know, you can't have an opinion, you didn't know. Well, I haven't eaten dog poop either, but that doesn't mean that I'm gonna go out and scarf up dog poop because one person said they tried it and liked it.
I've eaten dog poop.
I don't have to know myself every time to have an opinion.
I've eaten dog poop by accident,
bad,
John. I've eaten
I think it's probably better than dog poop.
I've eaten dog poop by accident. Would you like to know why?
This is the bold announcement.
I didn't know.
All right, let's open up the book of Scott. Let's examine it.
Let's picture 9-year-old or 10-year-old Scott. I forget, but I was probably 10, and I'm on a BMX bike. Okay, so like knobby tires and all that, and it's raining, and I'm rushing to get to my friend's house on my bike, and I went across a lady's yard to get there. Cut across her yard. It was a mistake, but I thought I'd get there quicker. And also, it's not nice to ride your BMX bike over some lady's nice lawn or whatever, but I did. And all in one moment before I can do anything about it, I noticed, because my head's kind of down and I'm like cranking on the pedals and stuff, I noticed that my knobby tires slam into a big old wet freaking dog poo in the middle of her yard and then roll under and then flick up. Because, it's kicking up water and stuff. Normally it's just water or mud or whatever, but this time it kicked up this hunk of dog poo.
Like on the front tire?
Yes.
Because usually it's the back tire, right? If you're in a puddle, the back tire.
Usually, and probably was both for all I know. It probably got on my back for all I know. But I do this, and a little hunk about that big of this dog poo went flying in the air and went right in my mouth. And I didn't like ingest it.
This is good.
I immediately just
know the story.
Immediately just like started jerking I freaked out and fell and gagged and so
did you get like a taste or did you?
Oh yeah, it was the worst thing ever. It's terrible. It was like bitter. It was like bitter and terrible. I'll never forget it.
Damn.
And so that's the only
honking piece too.
It's the only experience I've had. But to John's point, you really don't need to taste that to know how bad it is. You are right about that. I can tell
that's
you.
That's one of those obvious things. Like clearly poo tastes bad. You know what I mean? It's like it shouldn't even be part of the conversation. Although I'm glad you shared that story.
It's like 44 years ago or something. And why on earth would any kid ever have to put himself through? I didn't do it on purpose. I'm sure there are people out there. I don't know. I don't want to speak about people's weird things they're into.
Of course it wasn't. I mean,
yeah,
I really
do what they want.
You have to question. Like if you're a kid, I guess you put things in your mouth, and that's. But
I didn't put it in my mouth.
No, I know. I know. It's not like you were 2 and found something interesting and didn't know what it was.
Well, yeah, and then as a reason you don't have good memories as a tiny baby because the things you do, you'd be so embarrassed as an adult.
You barely any. You're obviously not held accountable for like stuff you might have done at 2 years old.
No, but I honestly felt like my life was ending when that thing flicked up into my mouth. I thought this was the end of all things.
Was there water nearby, like a hose? Like how far away were you? Because you can spit it out, but there's still a coating on the inside the mouth.
Yeah, no. I mean, well, A, thanks for making it a little bit worse, but B, you're right. And C, there wasn't like I didn't have access to like wash it out with anything. So
yeah, like if it was like a lawn, maybe I'd try and find a hose and like hose my mouth out or something.
Just eat some grass or something.
I couldn't even hurl. It was just like, and I didn't touch the grass, or I didn't trust the grass because the grass is where the poo was. And I was like, well, I'm not
who knows how much
that.
poo was in that grass.
Apologies for this story at all, but it's so...
No, don't apologize. This is incredible. I'm glad to learn this. I mean, I've had like, I didn't have shit in my mouth, but I got bird shit in my ear.
Wait. I've had... Why did that happen? I'm trying to think.
I was like, the ear is so specific. It's like either the bird was being very intentional, or Bo was just 19. Laying down on a beautiful summer day.
And I don't know if you've heard of these things, but have you heard of like a Fringe Fest? Which is like it's like a festival of theatrical productions. They're usually nobody makes any money, and there's like a number of venues. We have that in Ottawa, the Ottawa Fringe Fest. So a bunch of if you wrote a play or if you want to perform something. They got venues. There's a lottery, and you can put up your play for 2 or 3 nights. And as a viewer, you for super cheap, you can watch all these theatrical productions, right?
Yeah,
it's all volunteer based. So I was a volunteer, and I was going to my next like gig as a usher, ticket taker for Fringe Fest. And I'm walking through the University of Ottawa. I know we have some Ottawa listeners, so everyone will know the University of Ottawa. I was walking through the University of Ottawa parking lot, and to get to the building where there was going to be some Fringe Festival stuff, and I got whacked in the side of the head with the hardest thing I've ever felt in my life. And I felt like someone threw a baseball at my head. And I was looking around, I was like in pain. And I was looking around and like, who threw that? What the hell happened? And then I could feel like a heaviness on the side of my head. So I checked for injury, and there was bird shit, the biggest bird shit I've ever seen, caked into the side of my face. It was all the way in my ear hole, as deep as it can go. Now, bird shit, because birds fly when they shit, right? So it doesn't go straight down. It's to trajectory.
But they don't go
so it
sideways.
Landed perfectly that it smacked me right in my damn ear hole. Yeah. And it was like, it was so deep in my ear. Like I went to the bathroom, the side, that white bird shit. It was like all on the side of my face. And I was like, I had to go appear in front of people to take their tickets and stuff. And I was like, so I'm like showing up. I'm like, guys, I don't think I can do this with a half a face of shit.
What is this Luke Skywalker bird that got the Death Star hole? So
I think the odds of something like that happening. You're like someone dies randomly from lightning, or it's like, what are the odds? He was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Damn.
I got nailed with the world's like most harmful shit in the universe. And yeah, it was so deep in my ear, I couldn't get it all out. Like I had to go home.
Lives there to this day.
Yeah.
It might explain a lot. There might be desiccated bird shit in there now. It hit me so damn hard.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So anyways, I didn't taste it, but my ear did.
Well, if it had gone down your eustachian tube, you may have had worse time with it. But
yeah, like I said, there may still be a piece in there. I don't know.
Have your mom check it. Have her get in there. Get a little. My daughter got one of those little snake cameras you put in your ear, and you can find out if you got like a big clog in there or something. You should try that.
My mom's clean enough of my shit. I'm not going to subject her to that anymore.
Yeah, at this stage of your life, Mom, you're off the hook.
Take care of
yeah, you're off the hook, Mom. Yeah. All right. Well, there's I don't know how we got there, but let's go to World of Warcraft.
In conclusion, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth sold well.
Let's go to World of Warcraft, but not leave Final Fantasy entirely, because World of Warcraft gave about a bunch of details about the new player housing system that is coming to the next expansion of the game. And it takes some shots at Final Fantasy XIV's housing a little bit there.
Yeah, it does. Real direct.
Yeah.
It felt good.
Yeah,
I'm happy. Nothing is fun about seeing people clearly in a fight pretending they're not in a fight.
Yeah.
So good on WoW for finally being a little scrappy.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. I don't have a problem with them being, being a little bit back and forth on it. I think it's fine. They go on in this thing. There's not a ton of like really hard and fast stuff. There's a bunch of speculation around what they're saying, but they talk about these 3 pillars of their housing philosophy. At first, when I read it, I went, wait, every house has 3 pillars. Am I going to have to go grind for a pillar?
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean?
You get your third pillar.
That's what I was worried about. But they talk about these pillars: boundless self-expression, deeply social, and long-lasting journey. The self-expression thing, obviously decorate how you want with what you want, as much as you want, all that sort of thing. Deeply social means, hey, more players, more fun. Come to my house, hang out over here.
Yeah, the ability to make it a social thing, have people come over and see your house. And whatnot. It's not just a phase that only you see and it's only for you.
And finally, long-lasting journey. Housing is being built as an evergreen addition to the game. It has its own roadmap, reaching across multiple patches and into future expansions. So take that as you will. I think that's a way to stave off anybody going, yeah, I remember how Dance Studio went, or whatever they want to say. So I think that's just them committing. Zoning, they get into that a little bit. They are starting with an alliance zone and a horde zone. Let's see, they said in here, Westfall and Duskwood are and Elwyn Forest are kind of the touches for the alliance zone, and horde is inspired by Duratar, its coastline, and Ashara, which I'm down with. That's where I'm definitely going to hang out. I love it. Anyway, they say that zones are hard and they're going to expand on that, but that's where they're going to start. And then they get into outfitting it, want people to enjoy it, blah, blah, blah. It's not a ton of like really hard new details, but a lot of reading. I mean, I remain excited about the feature.
It should assuage some of the fears. I know when we first talked about them announcing it, there was a lot of like skepticism around what it would and wouldn't be, and it sounds like this certainly should put. If you had anxieties that it was going to be oversimplified or if it was going to be Garrisons 2.0, this should probably help alleviate concerns with that. I do, we got to see how it's implemented. Like, there's obviously things, not that I, I'm super active in World of Warcraft anymore, but there are things that if this was going to be a feature for me, I play Horde, and I think Orc architecture is awful.
Ashara is nice.
Most of the Horde player base by the numbers is Blood Elves. So if you force all those characters to have, big spikes and leather cloth on everything, I think that's probably a mistake. So I think a level of customizability is going to be important.
Yeah. They do say Ashara in there. Ashara is that's very elf friendly. I mean, it's a little more.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean your house isn't going to look like, the horniest house in the world.
True. But I'll bet you money they want every race on every faction, on both factions, to feel like there's stuff that represents them. So if you're a blood elf dude like you are, with the worst laugh in the game, I hate it so
There's
bad.
blood elf dudes?
Well, in the game, yeah.
I only ever see girls. I thought maybe there's one of those races that only had.
I see what you did there. I'm with you for the record.
I don't think I've seen a male blood elf with like this entire return to retail. I'm like,
that's how you know when they laugh. When they laugh, that's when you know they're.
Oh, I know their laugh. I was just making jokes.
I know.
But
I know.
Yeah, I've never seen one, and
that's how you tell.
I haven't seen one. Like all 2024.
John's just taking this us shitting on his favorite race in the game. Look at us just going at it.
By the numbers, it's the most popular race on the Horde. I don't know.
I thought he played Orc. Like
no,
you an Orc lady.
Hell no.
I have an Orc warrior. Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't play you. That's not where you're at.
It's my second most played character. Yeah, my rogue's a blood elf.
Always.
Okay.
You know how I know? I know because I can see that blood elf lady hanging out in a dead body of a boss we killed while we're all taking trash down. That's how I know.
Yeah, I can understand. I am a rogue, so I can understand why you don't see it very often, because I do hide.
Yeah, you're good at it.
Technically, you might even be raiding with us, and we just don't know it.
Yeah,
I might have been there the whole time.
Yeah, John was invited. Was he here?
I have had people ask before, how do you don't play very often. How is your gear score so high? That used to be something people would say. It's because I participate. You don't know that I'm there.
Yeah. It's very roguish, the way you played. So I always appreciated it from that point of view. But soon houses, we'll see. We'll see how much customization there. I think it's a mistake if they don't provide as much possibility under each faction as they can. It can't simply be spikes, leather, and chains for the Horde.
Or like 3 different prefabs.
Yeah, it's got to be more than that.
And then a few trophies. Then it's like, if that's what it is, everyone's gonna be like, whatever.
It won't be.
Either got to skip it, or they really have to nail like something innovative and leading.
I mean, they kind of hedge their bets a little bit by saying it's an evergreen thing that we're going to work on forever, and that's a little bit of their way of saying you may not get everything at once, but we're gonna, it's going to be a thing.
You know how corporate speak is, and this is very corporate speaky. That could just be trophies every time. I'm not trying to be cynical or negative. I'm just saying we'll see when we get. Because you know what I mean? Because I'm there's a little bit of me that's like. I've always liked the idea of player housing, but only if like they've really leaned into the social part of it. Like if I'm actually in a neighborhood with people, I guess, like Valheim,
sure,
where we're all building together and stuff like that. So if it's just a big fancy display case for trophies,
it needs to be all the things you guys have said. So it can be a big fancy display for trophies. It can't just be that. It can't just be a neighborhood full of people. It can be one of those things. It just needs to be a lot of stuff for a lot of people. And it's easy for everyone to go, I need housing. I want housing.
Well, it would be fun. We have a core guild. Like, it would be great if we had a shard where everyone in the guild could make a house. No alts.
No alts. Sorry.
No alts squatting on prime real estate. Thank you.
Yeah.
But, I can see if somebody in the guild is, like, making potions or something like that. Like we do in the Valheim, the survival games.
Yeah. That's how we roll.
We'll select somebody to be the laughing stock because Crofton's not in the guild, so we need a replacement to laugh at their house sucking.
I mean, I don't think it's. I don't think it's
old
out
Jim's
of
bringing
line.
their real estate value down.
Yeah.
I don't think it's out of line to say, hey, if you want a rough idea of what they're probably thinking for World of Warcraft housing, look at Final Fantasy XIV, because you don't take shots at them if you're not also being inspired by them, right? Like, to me, it shows that is one of the areas, one of the avenues they're looking at. So I think, the housing in 14 is really, really good. I think the things that WoW is saying they aren't going to do is definitely hitting some of the bad points of 14 housing, which is how difficult it is to get a house, what you have to do to maintain a house, the cost of getting it, all that stuff is really bad.
Yeah.
So they're taking shots where it's appropriate, but it also, to me, says that is what they're looking at for a lot of the inspiration. And I think overall, it's a really great housing system. So it gives me a lot of hope for what they're going to do.
Yep. We'll see more this fall when it launches with Midnight, I think, unless they said otherwise, but I believe that's still the plan. Hey, Phil Spencer had something to say. In the aftermath of the Switch 2 announcement, the official making announcement, which they'll talk a whole bunch more about come April, Phil Spencer was very quickly from Xbox willing to say, we are really looking forward to supporting Nintendo with Xbox games. They want to put a bunch of Xbox games on the Switch 2, and likely could do a pretty good job of that given the purported specs on that device. And if the DLSS-like scaling technology is ready to roll on day one, you could get some pretty sweet looking titles that normally you would ascribe to, more powerful machines running on a Switch 2. And we know Microsoft wants them everywhere. So this makes sense to me. Do not take this, I don't think, as a confirmation that Game Pass is coming to Switch, but I would expect you to be able to maybe buy Indiana Jones on there, or,
I did assume that.
Nah, I don't think you should.
I did assume that because it's like, oh, here's our library,
It's just another sales platform like PlayStation, like Steam. I mean, Microsoft's all in on selling on it. Whoever wants to play it on a device, here you go. And this would be the first time they really have done that with Nintendo. So
this is a nothing burger then, because like didn't they had Xbox game, like they have all kinds of games on Switch 1.
Do they?
Right?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
It's Microsoft games?
Buy, like Witcher.
Well, Witcher's
I don't
not
know if it's Microsoft.
Well, that's what we're saying. No. Microsoft games. Why else would Phil Spencer's not? We look forward to seeing another Witcher game that we don't run or own on the Switch. They don't care about that.
I would have assumed Xbox games were already on there, given how many other companies have their games on Switch.
Yeah,
like this is like Grandpa saying, "Hey guys, I bought a skateboard." Wow. It's like, okay, we all congrats.
That would shock me, because one, my grandfather is dead, but
Well, you know what I mean, though.
Even if he wasn't dead, I would still be shocked.
Bad analogy. What I mean, like it's like somebody, you know, older being like, "Oh, I bought a computer." It's you know, like, "Grats, we all have one. I'm happy for you." Like, cool, but like, it doesn't need to be on the nightly news, you know. Like, so I'm like, so when this was like, "Oh, this is a headline worthy thing," which I saw. Granted, I assumed it was better than it was, so it's on me for not carefully reading the fine print. Fine.
Yeah, and on the Xbox,
but I hear it, and I'm like, yeah, great, cool.
Switch
like, you know,
Switch 1 didn't have Diablo, it had 3, but it doesn't have Diablo 4. It doesn't have Call of Duty. It doesn't have Halo.
3.
Yeah, it has 3.
I thought it had Diablo. Yeah.
Yeah, it has 3. It doesn't have
that's
4.
a Blizzard deal, not a Microsoft deal.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like Microsoft with their now expanding library, games like, you know, The Outer Worlds 1 and 2 would run on a Switch 2, no problem. This thing's supposed to be basically PS4 Pro with scaling. That's plenty of power to play a lot of stuff that's out there. So my guess is this is a chance for them to like really go for it and put the stuff on their store.
It's not bad news. I just thought it was better news than it was, and now I'm disappointed. So
Well, yeah, I'd love Game Pass on that.
I was like, oh, it's very cool. They're putting their Game Pass on, you know, their whole environment's going to be on Microsoft. Good job, everybody.
Well
games
done.
Everywhere.
Yep, games everywhere. Get pizza and see you tomorrow. Just don't, while you're over there, don't mention Mario Strikers.
Oh, I saw an image of this.
This is great. Okay, I need to share this image that is part of this. Because
Pal World is responsible for this.
Now, first of all, you may look at it and go, oh, they made a Mario Strikers ripoff. They even come real close with the name. It's a game that's just in the marketplace, whatever. Okay, that gets so much worse. I'm going to zoom in, put a little pinch and zoom. This guy's ear is like an elephant trunk. I don't know why. And it's holding up a ball that does not look quite right for a soccer ball. That soccer ball looks...
Oh, it's a hand.
Yeah, you might actually say that soccer ball looks AI generated. Well, I got more fun for you. I don't know what's going on here, but that guy's knee...
That guy looks like he's getting shot through the eyes with a laser beam.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even notice that. Look at his knee, though. It ends. There's no foot. Here, just
he's only got one leg. I mean, they play soccer too, I guess.
Or it's his peen. Then this other guy kind of effed up in the knee as well. This dude's feet in the background aren't right. Let's see. There's more. This controller. Look how mushy and weird this controller looks.
Yeah, terrible controller.
Like what even is that?
That was hand drawn. It'd be the laziest job that someone turned in, right?
No, not that referee. The other referee.
Oh,
the one that's further back. The one that's
he's got a peg leg.
Yeah, it's all effed up because it's AI and
a peg leg all the way up to like the waist.
It's not even. It's not just AI. It's really poor AI. It's very bad.
Are you saying you don't have a lot of faith in a game called Mario Strikers Soccer League?
Nope. Mario Strikers Soccer League. I think it looks like shit. Don't buy it.
Mario sounds like a sex thing too.
A little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah. We split up because he was too much of a Mario in bed.
Yeah, you can't trust a guy like that. Also, this field they have out here, it's only got one net. It's all warpy on the other end. This is really bad representation of this thing, and this guy's playing with his phone.
No doubt. Even the ripoff title is not good. Like Mario
It's bad.
Strikers. Like it doesn't even roll off the tongue good or anything. Like
it's terrible. These cleats are all wrong. Look at these cleats. What's this third nipple at the bottom of the heel down there? What are we doing?
So has anyone played this game or has it not come out yet?
I think it's out, isn't it?
I don't think anybody should play this game. I don't know. It's just gonna, not even as an experiment. I don't think we should.
Somebody's gonna get suckered by it. I just want to know how playable it is.
I'm probably bad, but I don't know. Is there reviews? Let's find out.
Yeah, let's find out.
Mario. Whoops. I can't believe they had the nuts to call it this. Mario Strikers review. All right. Let's see if anyone.
Game of the year.
Let's see. GameSpot. Oh, these are all just articles about it. Nobody's reviewing it yet.
Nobody can even bother capturing footage of it.
Yeah. It looks like there's not much yet. So maybe it just.
No, this is for pointing and laughing at. This isn't for playing.
I agree. Don't go near this thing.
It's like a clown. You can point, you can laugh, but don't invite him over.
Don't have him over to the house for dinner.
Don't give him money. They'll just encourage him to come back.
Do give EA money. Apparently they need it.
I mean, maybe don't.
Yeah, EA's in trouble, man. Electronic Arts and studios within its structure are getting hacked left and right because they were not happy with Veilguard's sales. A bunch of those teams have been either scattered to the wind, laid off entirely, or reassigned somewhere, and they are cutting all sorts of stuff. They also think that cutting their live service components to that game was a mistake in retrospect. I disagree.
So this has been a big talking point. I do want to bring something up first, because Scott, your best buddy, who you talked to, Jason Schreier, did talk about this. Friend of the show, Jason Schreier, sure. Scott's best friend.
Yeah.
He did talk about this. He posted on Blue Sky talking about this, saying that a lot of companies are running with the story that, basically EA said, oh, the reason it failed was because it didn't have its live service component and they were regretting removing it. Mm-hmm. He posted the quote. I did read the quote. It definitely does not say that. But here's the issue. Here, it's not exactly fake news. The problem is, I'll try and find the real quote while I kind of talk about this. But the issue with it is this. They're basically doing corpo speak. We talked about it earlier. Yeah. They're trying to say nothing while saying a lot of something. And the problem with doing that is you do leave it open to interpretation then for people to take it in whatever direction they want. And if you're not going to be clear enough, you deserve all the hate you're going to get for people assuming you meant something completely different. So here's what the actual quote was. And get ready, because it is a bunch of corpo BS.
Sweet. Does it have "we heard you" in there? But if
no,
okay.
No.
All right.
Our blockbuster storytelling strategy is built on 3 strategic objectives. First, create an authentic story experience for the core audience. Second, build innovative, groundbreaking features. And third, emphasize high-quality launches across both PC and console. In order to break out of the core audience, games need to directly connect to the evolving demand of players who increasingly seek shared world features and deeper engagement alongside high-quality narratives in this beloved category.
Good Lord.
Dragon Age had a high-quality launch and was well-reviewed by critics and those who played. However, it did not resonate with a broad enough audience in this highly competitive market. So what people focused in on was demand of players who increasingly seek shared world features and deeper engagement. And they took that and ran with it, I think, to a degree, to mean that, hey, it should have been live service. I think that's going too far, but he wasn't clear enough. And you do, if you're going to say nothing, you do leave yourself open to being misinterpreted. And
right.
I think you deserve all the criticism of it.
I think it's worse, John, because what he's saying in plain speak is that the way people play games is they love playing single-player narrative fantasy games. But the reason why more people didn't play it was because there was no multiplayer component. And usually it's the opposite. People buy the game and a small percentage stick around for multiplayer stuff. Mm-hmm. Like think of Doom.
Yeah.
You bought Doom because you're like, Doom's cool. How much of the multiplayer did you do? Probably not that much. Mm-hmm. I didn't touch any of it. Mm. Not only is this triggering in the way you suggest, because I agree to people, but it's also just like, do you even know the business you're running? Like, this guy's an idiot. This is an Elon Musk moment right here.
It's it's so word salad too. It's so corporate
it's
salad.
It's word salady, but it does have meaning. And the meaning is, these games, they just do better if there's extra bloat in it. Like, look at Windows. Like, whenever Windows, you buy a system builder and they put extra software on there, people love it. People love when Norton Antivirus is pre-installed on their PC. It's like, no, we don't.
It's an ever-growing category.
That's basically what he's saying. He's like, it would have sold more if we put more garbage and shit in it. Mm. And the thing is, he might just be shilling this to his shareholders, but A, he's lying to them or being terrible at his job to them. But 2, he is a salesman for his company. So when the customers hear him representing games so poorly, then we are going to react and be not want to buy their game. Like, this is actively hurting their sales, is what I'm trying to. This isn't benign. The people who are buy his game or would tell other people, "Hey, buy this game. These guys know what they're talking about." are now forming the opinion that a rooster is running EA. Like someone with the intelligence of a chicken is like behind EA's decisions and stuff. There's probably better offerings in gaming out there than whatever chicken brain is making. Sorry to be so insulting, but like you can't be a serious person and speak this way to your shareholders or to people. And it's evidenced by just listen to the Hello Games guy talk about his games. You're like, okay, based. Like, when you hear him talk, like, yeah, this guy sucks. Sorry.
No, I mean, he talked about like, hey, we're making Light No Fire, and we just get so dang excited about it. We think we should go put that in No Man's Sky too. It's like, oh my God, this guy is passionate.
Yeah.
Like,
Or even
this guy cares an awful lot.
Yeah. Wish they were all like
corporate speak is corporate speak and PR department. Like, but at a certain point, that thing has reverse effect. You hire the PR department to keep from making gaffes and to keep a controlled message. But too much of that, and you're putting the car in reverse. Like, in an entertainment field where things are supposed to be exciting and fun. And it's been an ongoing issue for all these AAA games. They're going to blame a lot of things, but I think CEOs and C-suite people in those big video game companies sound like aliens. And everyone's like, I don't want to play alien-made games. Thanks.
More now than ever. Yeah, they all sound like aliens. I agree with that sentiment. It feels weird. I also worry that this has an effect on whatever Mass Effect 5 was shaping up to be. That is still happening. They say in this article, they make a point of the same dude saying Mass Effect 5 still underway. Everything's going great. All hands on deck. Brep, brep, brep.
All hands except the ones we fired.
Except for the people we fired. Yeah, I don't know.
But he's the CEO. He made the game, right? Like, Bioware's like, we're going to make a single play experience, no multiplayer. And Andrew's like, cool, great plan. And then it sells poorly. And he's like, we really should have added live service. How many years have you been out of this company? Like, you haven't figured it out after 52 games? Like,
well, you were right when you said he's talking to shareholders. That's what this is. Yeah. It's not talking to us.
The problem is we're listening in on it. And you can't do that. You can't be a salesman to people and then be a different beast to your shareholders.
They shouldn't be, but they can be. But they shouldn't be.
Like, they should be. I know there isn't, but the people who own the shares should be like, why are you talking to us this way? Why are you lying to us? Like, I don't know how the relationship works, but like, certainly.
I think that, I don't want to be reductive, but I think that relationship works like this. Will you make me money? Yes, I make you money. Did we make money? Yes, we make money. That's it. That's all they want. I don't think shareholders care.
Like, an age ceiling is we're getting older and older, and 20 years ago, if you would have said, yes, it's a bunch of like fossils, dealing with a nascent thing that they don't understand. Yeah, you're going to patronize them. Every year, everyone gets older, meaning that state of affairs is not going to remain true forever. And I just feel like in 2025, 30 years of like pretty high-end gaming at this point, you're fooling less and less people with this stuff. Like, this seems embarrassing in 2025.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. John, what do you think about a Mass Effect? I mean, I think you probably already have low expectations for Mass Effect, but do you think?
I mean, like, these teams are not the teams that made the thing you like. That's a thing to always remember. Like, the people who are making Mass Effect 5 are not the people who made Mass Effect 2. No. I don't mean to shock anybody, but so I don't know. I mean, it was kind of a part of this story. Everybody who did the writing for Veilguard, which I said was the worst part of that game, they don't work at EA anymore. They don't work for
MSQ
Bioware.
Was good. I would go to the mat to say MSQ was good.
No.
I'm not. That there's a part of me that was like, well, at least they won't be writing Mass Effect, but that also doesn't mean that the people who are going to be any better. So, I don't know. I'll judge it. Does this give me any hope when I see the CEO at the helm? This is the things they're saying. No, like that's the end of the day. Doesn't matter. The unfortunate thing is that his position as CEO is still going to be probably fine, or he's going to be taken care of if he ends up leaving as a result of it. And sadly, a bunch of people who get paid far less are going to be the casualties of these decisions. But at the end of the day, like, I don't trust a company that has this as their mouthpiece at the moment.
No. It's all a bunch of
Well,
mumbo.
at least we're getting the Horde mode. They're going to learn the lessons of Dragon Age and put the Horde mode.
Yeah, it is.
That'll fix it. That'll
solve it.
all the
More gamers will buy
problems.
the game because there's a Horde mode in the game.
Yeah, gamers, we heard you.
Gaming hasn't changed since 2001, guys.
This was my reaction on Discord, and if it is true, and if what he was saying is that we should have left in live service, then, you know, to me, I think the irony is that they're ignoring the one thing that even people who liked Dragon Age said was the problem, which was the writing, and they are now going to focus on the one thing that even people that hated Dragon Age agreed was good, which was that it wasn't a live service, DLC-ridden, microtransaction bug fest, and they're like, well, we should do more of that.
Yeah.
Clearly, there's one thing everybody universally praised. Let's do the opposite of that.
Yeah, until they do it again and then go, shit. What we meant to say
bothered
was
Andrew Wilson while he was on like a 6-month vacation or something when he we need your response about Dragon Age. He's like, oh shit.
Yeah. Well,
I haven't been paying attention to what's going on.
just GPT that shit next time. Tell that guy. Just do a GPT speech. It'll sound just as meaningful.
Oh, yeah.
It'll sound just as meaningful. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back from said break, we got another Dear Martha game show. Yeah, that's right. Me and Bo getting tested again.
Ooh.
Our metal getting tested, yo. So that's all coming up. We also have games we played and your feedback and all that other fun stuff. So did one of us play Civ VII? Yeah. You're going to find out who and why at least one of the other three of us.
The extra for the early access. Okay, we'll get
Well, one of us didn't even know there was early access, or he might have done it. I don't know. We'll talk about all this. This is all coming up after the break, so stay tuned. Hey, everybody, we're back. Thanks for coming back, and we're going to play a Dear Martha. John's been working on these great Dear Marthas lately where it's a real test of the brain power of the two other hosts on the show here. Scott and Bo.
Yeah.
And
dwindling every week.
I don't remember who won or did well last. I don't remember anything.
Nobody won last week.
Okay.
We both failed.
So it was just bad.
You both failed, and that's fine.
It's
We're
fine.
going to try again.
All right.
So here is the game. The game is the Dear Martha game show. It's called Guess the Game, and I'm going to read a Dear Martha letter, a review that badly describes a video game in the review. You guys are supposed to hear it and try to infer what video game I might be talking about.
Okay.
Because last week was hard. You know, it was about Astrobot, and neither of you had played it. So this week, I figured, well, at least there's a guarantee that one of us has played the game. I picked the potential games are all games we played last week.
Oh.
So in alphabetical order, again, for anybody metagaming, Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Learning Factory, No Man's Sky, Riptide GP, Thank Goodness You're Here, UFO 50, or V Rising. It's a review for one of those games.
A through H. This is fantastic.
Yeah, lots of options. And if you cue up the music, I will read the letter. My dearest Martha, I have recently spent time with a video game that I thought I would enjoy. I regret to inform you that it was in fact some of the worst video game time I have ever experienced. I wrote this poorly. This game is basically a lot of waiting and busy work, just so you can have a necessary medical operation. Which, now that I say it, is basically the same thing you go through if you need a medical operation in real life. So I give it a 1 out of 10, because at least some of the other patients were cool. Yours in this life and the next, Letter for Refantasio.
Oh, man.
Operation.
All right, well, we can, through some elimination here. I don't think UFO 50 fits in that. V Rising, maybe.
A lot of games in UFO 50.
There are a lot.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if John was lurking at my stream or not. I was complaining that, like, when you tap a prisoner for blood, you gotta, like, they lose health and they gain misery, so you gotta feed them fish to recuperate their health and misery. And it, like, each fish takes 30 seconds. So if so I'm like waiting a minute between tapping blood, so I don't kill my 100% blood quality prisoner.
That's not bad.
Operation's throwing me a little bit, but it's kind of a medical operation. Like creating a blood merlot, you get a container, and you get wine grapes, and then you tap their blood and make a blood merlot to make a sweet amulet for yourself. So it's kind of an operation. It's more alchemical, but
I feel, you know what? Now that you've described that, I feel like that's pretty good.
So let's process of eliminate. Are we allowed? Do we have time limits, or can we
No, you guys go ahead.
All right, UFO
Scott,
50.
in fact, if you want to give people at home a chance, maybe zoom in. I put the letter and the options in there if they want to be able to see those.
I'll bring them up.
People
here.
at home can guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Those of you listening to audio only, I'm sorry, you're going to have to rewind.
I'm going to pull it up here.
Time.
So, okay, so Bo, I think I really do think
there's no operation in Baldur's Gate 3. Like, there's maybe Karlach's got to have her heart cooled down, but like that's not really.
So, do you think we eliminate?
There's no busy work. It's not. It's a pleasure playing that game. So no.
Okay, so we're getting rid of Baldur's Gate 3. I'll put a line through it. Okay.
Rebirth, as far as I know, Cloud doesn't actually ever undergo a sex change operation, even though that would be perfectly acceptable considering how much she likes to, experiment with his feminine side through the story. I'm going to say no, but I mean, I haven't played that far. So
all right, I'll cross that one out. Learning Factory, no way. It's about cats. It's not. There's no way.
Okay. All right. Again, No Man's Sky medical operation. Is there a medical operation?
And
also,
you just did the intro to Survivor. Oh.
Like you make your backpack bigger, but the fiction is not like you're making your you don't have meat pockets in your legs or something. So
no,
I don't
that's
think
true.
So.
I don't think so either. That doesn't sound right to me. So No Man's Sky, we're going to take off the list. We are down to 3.
Riptide is a wave race game, right?
You're going to eliminate every game.
I don't know. V Rising's on the short list.
Yeah, V Rising's currently on the short list. Riptide GP is not. There's nothing in that about an operation. You are just racing on ski things. I don't think that's it.
Now, the one wild card here is, thank goodness you're here. I assume anything's on the table of this game.
Yeah.
And I haven't played it, so you might know there's an operation that might. I can see it being on the list, but I don't know. What do you think, Scott? We need your knowledge of a video game to help us here.
I know that game has you doing a lot of tasks for people, and they're always thankful that you're here. If that makes sense, they always are glad that you're the guy. So there may have been a moment where it was like, I can't do this until I have my heart transplant. Thank goodness you're here. And then you send you on a little weird puzzle quest. But I may not have seen that yet, and nothing I've seen in the game so far has anything to do with you getting any kind of surgery or operation. While we're doing this, I'm going to draw a wiener.
So is it Gary or Jerry? Jerry Tolbert in the chat?
Dr. Tolbert, yes.
Well, yeah, I just don't. His first name is on his user handle, so.
Yeah.
But Dr. Tolbert says A and makes the argument it's got to get the eye worm out. So resolving seromorphosis is technically an operation that you're trying to get the whole game.
Yeah.
It's like arguably the most American thing about Baldur's Gate 3 is that it's basically a game where you're trying to get a medical operation to survive.
I can open that one up again. Like let's not, he's a doctor. He knows. He went to medical school and internships and all that. He did the shit. He's now.
So based on what you said, it sounds like we can eliminate. Thank goodness here.
Probably, even though I'm still not 100% sure, but I think we can. I think we can eliminate it. So I'm going to go ahead and say, let's eliminate it.
So we have to decide, are you going with my weird side case of V Rising or the sounder argument of Baldur's Gate 3? Tell you what, there's 2 of us. At least this way there might be a chance one of us wins if we each pick one.
All right. My gut says V Rising because of the thing you talked about, the Blood Merlot thing. It makes sense. Is that
the one you want to vote for? I'll vote for the other one if you want to vote V Rising.
All right. I'll vote V Rising if I'm allowed, and you vote Baldur's Gate 3.
I'll vote for Baldur's Gate 3.
John, we have our choices. Tell us how we did.
This week, the winner is going to go to Dr. Tolbert, because let's be honest, he's really the one who figured this out.
Damn it!
That's true. That's true.
Shit.
Dr. Tolbert gets it at Baldur's Gate 3 for exactly the reasons that Bo said. The entire point of the game is to receive a medical procedure to remove a brain from behind your eye.
I mean, RFK Jr. got one, right?
He's basically spent the entire game looking for a solution to that specific problem. So yeah, it is a bad review for Baldur's Gate 3.
Nice.
Congratulations to Dr. Tolbert.
Well done, Dr.
I
Tolbert.
concede the win to him. Yeah, it was completely.
You did a good job. I'm impressed. All right. Well
Sorry,
done.
Scott, for leading him astray yet again on this.
I really thought that. I mean, it sounded right. I don't know.
I provide super sound arguments for the wrong answer that Scott seems to take. Even I was like, I'll go with the other one. But I would have guessed, had you said, Scott, Baldur's Gate 3, I would have gone down with the ship and said V-Rising.
All right. Well, I know you would because you're a nice guy that way. All right. Well done, everybody. That was great, John. Let's do this now. Time to talk about the games we played this week, and I'm going to start us off. Actually, we're going to start off with shared games. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which I still haven't hit play on, but will soon. But Bo started it again. John, you also have some other thoughts here. I'll let him explain. But how's it going in that game? Let's start with Bo. Bo, what do you think so far?
I'm not super far. I'm playing basically the stuff I played on the PlayStation 5. So I'm just about to get to Calm. I went to bed just before, so I'm not super far along. It's the opening, but I got through the tutorials and stuff and started digging into it finally.
Yeah.
All week I was like, I got to play this or John's going to give me a tongue lashing again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the coming weeks, I'll be continuing to play it. So in the coming weeks, we can maybe even have an in-depth discussion. I don't know if that'll happen this week, but I started playing it.
Nice. And you're, now you're on your PC with your unlimited frame rates and your non-hitchy.
Yes, it plays smooth and nice. It's really refreshing, actually. Honestly, I'm pretty happy with it. So
nice. John, you're still chipping away, probably pretty far.
Yeah, I've gotten further. Last week I was saying, some people really didn't like the mini games in this game, and I'm baffled by the lack of love for the mini games because I find them a joy. And I went from our show back into the game and was like, oh, look, a mini game, doing crunch challenge. This should be fun. Fuck crunches. My goodness, what a horseshit piece of shit mini game that is.
You're not a fan.
My God.
Man. All right.
Holy hell, I cannot believe how terrible this mini game is.
What mini game is crunches?
Yeah, what is it?
It's Tifa doing crunches.
You did pull-ups in Final Fantasy in the first one. Is it not as good as the pull-ups?
It's worse than the pull-ups. It's massively worse than the pull-ups.
Do you have to do them?
It is.
Are they required?
No.
Good. I'm not doing one.
Is it required by who? It's required by my brain, Scott. My brain says that I have to do it.
But to what end? Like, what are the rewards for you doing
I have to get up. There's a power belt if I can beat the best cruncher of all of them.
Okay.
That's what I got to do.
Okay.
And I got to do it.
So you're doing it.
And it is obnoxious. It is terrible. You have to alternate between L1, R1, L2, R2 at a rhythm that changes. So it's not a set rhythm. So it's not like you just have to keep a set rhythm. It alternates. It speeds up. Then they remove the prompts so you can't see what needs to be pressed when. You just have to remember and keep your rhythm, but also remember it gets faster. And every now and then it will show the prompts again and you have to tap one of them. And if you miss and you mess up, basically restart the minigame. You're not coming back from it. There's not going to be a point where you go, oh, oops, I'll just win now because I'll do really good now. No, if you mess up, you're not going to win. You're not going to beat the thing. So
I'm looking right now. I hate it.
It's not good. It's not fun. And I wish I could convince my brain I didn't need to do it, but I have to, and I have to get it done. And it's driving me up the wall. I think you're watching a video that's supposed to teach you how to do it.
Yeah, it is. It's teaching you poorly.
Let me ask you a question. You can feel free not to answer, but do you think you'd do this mini game if it was Barrett and not Tifa?
They knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
They do give you, not only is it Tifa that you get to do it, but you can play as Tifa in the alternate costumes for Costa del Sol.
Including her little skimpy bikini thing she's been wearing.
Yes.
Oh, Lord.
I don't know if that helps the situation. That might make the minigame harder.
There's
I don't know.
some people. I know some people that will.
Mini game for the Gooners. I know all about that. I play Yakuza.
Oh yeah, Gooner games. Yeah.
It's certainly not helping me be better at the game. It's certainly, there was some colorful language coming out of this room when I was playing that game. And I said to my wife, I hope I didn't disrupt any meetings you were on. And she said, I thought you were recording something.
Oh.
I said, I hope not.
Did it inspire you to do a bunch of crunches like in real life?
No.
Okay. It wouldn't me either.
No.
It disincentivized not. Probably. It didn't even make it fun.
It's actually made me more opposed to physical.
You play
activity.
Rock Band and you're like, what if I really learned to play guitar? This is awesome. But it's like the opposite probably of that.
Yeah, this is like, oh, right, they suck, and I knew they sucked. Now it's confirmed. Yeah, I hate that minigame. But beyond that, the game continues to be a joy. I love the game overall.
Okay, it's not wrecking it for you, but
bad.
I think at a certain point when we both finish it, we'll have to do like about that ending or whatever.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. We can also rate our minigame experiences.
Are there other?
Are you the type of person that has to go through all the minigames too, Bo? Are you good at?
If I really like
away?
the game, yeah. Like Yakuza is hard because there's so many. So I'll do the main ones, but like F Mahjong and Shogi and stuff like that. But
so you don't do them all. Unless you have to.
I don't do them all, but I do the main one. There's always, in the Yakuza, there's always a mini game tied directly to the story. Like this last one was Dondaku Island. I 100%ed it. So I can be sucked into the mini game. Also, the one before, Dragon Kart Racing, is awesome. Better than Mario Kart. But I'm joking. Mario Kart's better. In Final Fantasy VII Remake, there weren't a lot of mini games, so I did them all. Because there wasn't a lot, and I wanted to extend the pleasure of the experience. I was edging my experience of Final Fantasy VII. It seems to me like there's a lot more in this one, so there may be some skips.
I'll bet you money that there's a dude over at Square, and there's a dude over at Sega / forget the team who does Yakuza, but they have this like bet about who can annoy players the most. With freaking
but that's the thing is in general the mini games have been really good. This is just like a big standout bad one. Like
I think
I've rolled my eyes at a lot of the mini games, but every single one I've played up to this point has been fun.
So this was true of the first one too. The problem is it's a rhythm and like memorization game. The problem is it doesn't really correspond to a rhythm. Like Yakuza has this. It's the karaoke. But the buttons are timed to the song. So if you have a sense of rhythm, you can hear it's usually tied to like the lyrics. So if Kiryu's like, hey ho hey ho ho, then you press the button, nah, 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 like, but the crunches I don't think are to any beat. So that
because it changes. You can kind of gauge it off of Tifa. Because if you watch her animation and she stops, you know to press a button. So you can kind of but if you're off by anything, you basically instant lose the mission. So
means like it's repetition to a point where you memorize the button presses, and that's not that fun.
I don't like the sound of any of this.
But who knows? I miit enjoy watching Tifa do crunches, and it'll be fine.
Crotches.
I did for a while.
I heard crotches.
There is a point.
Crunches.
There's a point.
You want to see Tifa's crotch? I heard it.
I think you heard what you wanted.
That guy may have heard what I wanted to hear. All right. Well, Final Fantasy Rebirth continues down the merry path. Anything else to add, John, is through this other than running into that?
No, it's super fun. They do a really good job of changing up the gameplay. I have felt, I know this is going against what I've heard some people say, but like I have had a very good time where it's like, oh man, there's a lot of combat and then a big boss fight. Oh, now we're going to do this little, kind of mini section where you're riding around on a mine cart and, doing something fun that's different. And now here's a place where you can go and play a bunch of mini games. Here's a place where you can explore. Like it has done a good job of changing things up at a pace where I never feel like I'm super bored of what's going on at any one time.
Nice. All right. Maybe I'll hit play and avoid the crunches like I do in real life.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I played, and then we'll get down the list of everybody. I played a game that I've been meaning to play for a long time. They finally went on sale for like $1.50 or something, so I grabbed one. Turns out it's the latest one, came out in 2021, called McPixel 3. You may remember McPixel and possibly McPixel 2, although I think there's some confusion, or there's a joke that 2 doesn't actually exist, but they call it a trilogy. I can't quite figure it out, but anyway, it doesn't matter. The important thing is McPixel is amazing, and I'm annoyed it took me this long to play one of these things. So I don't know how to describe this. Basically, it works like this. This is made by a dude he's a Polish developer named Mikołaj Kaminski. He goes by SOS Sowowski. Anyway, first game came out in 2012. Like I said, 2021 for this new one. I can't tell you what happened in the intervening years, but apparently there sort of is a second one, but isn't really. Anyway, the objective of the game is like, all right, you're in a scenario. You're supposed to do something. You notice there's a bomb, so I'll go try to interact with the bomb. Oh, crap, it blew me up. Now I go on to the next level, and I won't get to fix that bomb problem for a minute here. So you go now do something else. You're on a train, and on the train, there's like a bunch of people standing around. What am I supposed to do? Well, I threw a fish out a window. Well, that didn't work, and eventually we died. There's a timer going this whole time, too, which normally I hate, but I kind of works here. And then it goes to another scenario. Now you're on an island and you're trying to put a fire out and you're not sure how to put that fire out. So you're interacting with everything kind of frantically, like, oh shit, what am I supposed to do? And sometimes you just nail it because you just got lucky, but it's not always the stuff you think is right. So this McPixel guy may click on a bomb and your immediate reaction will be, oh, he'll pick it up. But instead he puts a fork in it and cuts it in 3 and eats it like a weirdo. And that's bad. Or it's maybe not bad, it may even be progression, but it doesn't make sense that he would ever do that. So you start to learn pretty quickly that the game wants you to do things that make no sense, because sometimes that's how you solve the puzzle. You travel around this town in between and you get a bus ticket like he's getting right now in this video. And now the bus is a series of new I'm kicking the lady. It's a series of new mini games in there, basically scenarios, and you got to try to beat those scenarios before you can get out of the bus. And it runs them in rapid succession and loops them until you solve one of them, and then it will skip that one. So you guys will see it in the video here, but here's the first one, the train scenario. You see it blinking? That's the train scenario. So you got to figure out what the hell you're supposed to do in this train. And here he is. Okay, there's a fish. I pick up a fish. I'm going to take it in this bathroom. I'm going to throw it down the hole. Okay, sweet. He did that. He can also look down the toilet, which is pretty great. There he is putting a thing on his head. That's the end of the train mission for now, because he didn't do all the stuff he could do. But it will mark those off. So he's done 2 things. Put a fishbowl on his head, and it will give you a score. It gives you a little stamp score of the 2 things you accomplished and tell you the percentage of completion you are. Then you go to this house one, and you got to figure out how to put this house fire out. Look at this dude running around. It's ridiculous. It's over the top and engaging as hell. I was never quite sure. I was like, why does this have overwhelmingly positive reviews on all these things? What is it that's driving people? And it's this frantic mix of point and click adventure and just look, he's peeing so hard he's putting out the fire with his pee. Do you see this?
He's not peeing so hard he's putting it out. He's peeing so hard he's flying out of the room.
And then the whole place is going to go, there's your urine. Bam, we're done. We've killed the fire. And this guy's floating in the fire. He died.
Oh, this reminds me of your poo story. That guy's eating a mouthful.
It's pretty weird. And even if you don't, see, he cleared that all in one run. That was pretty good. Got a 100% run. And now he'll not have to return to that one in this string of runs. Now he's in outer space for some reason. There's a lot of like nonsense in this. It doesn't make sense why the train ride has turned into an outer space thing. I didn't even know about that guy. I got to go do that. Oh, this guy named Steve. Yeah, there's a whole thing with Steve. I forgot about Steve. And fishing, and it's not fishing.
I played the first McPixel. These games they genuinely make me laugh.
Yeah.
They're really immature, but in a way that I like, and they're dumb in a way that I like.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it. I don't know if I ever played McPixel 3.
Yeah, it's fairly new, and I want to say it's still on sale. It's really cheap. And the pixel art is definitely on purpose just terrible. Right? It's just awful, but on purpose. It's meant to be just crusty and nasty. And there's really not a lot of sound effects. There's some, like you get stuck in a sitcom world where you get into these sitcom scenarios and there's a laugh track every time you do something stupid. The characters, the audience will go, ah, or whatever. That's about as much sound as you get. That and the music. The rest of it's sort of sound free. And at first that kind of threw me, but then I got used to it. It's great. It's a stupid, great thing. It's of course published by, what's their names? Devolver, yeah, because they always pick weird projects. And I would recommend this to anybody, especially at the price. It's currently on sale. I think normally they're only $8 anyway, but right now they're like super cheap.
You can get both games in the trilogy for $13.48 right now.
Yeah, which I think is the joke. That they're selling a trilogy that only includes 2 games.
Yes.
I'm not totally sure how that works, but I love it. I really like
the
it.
Hitchhiker's trilogy having 5 books.
Yeah, it's just genius little thing. I got really hooked on it, and walking around town kicking people, seeing what they do, has a little bit of that. Thank goodness you're here vibe to the smacking people thing. So anyway, I like it. Go get it. It's on sale. It's on iOS. It's on every console. It's everywhere. So you can get your hands on it. All right, let us move down the road to something a little more three-dimensional, let's say. This was
if you can be so bold.
Yeah, if I could be so bold. If you guys don't mind me being a little bold right here.
I guess we could let it slide.
This is a game called Eternal Strands. Right now, these guys and people watching live are seeing what looks like sort of anime business. That's because the cutscenes in this thing are fully animated, like story stuff. And it's really quite good. Voice acting's very good. The action's pretty good. I mean, it's not going to blow your mind, but it's, I would say it's on the level of like, quality wise, I'd say it's like Airbender type stuff. That's the kind of, studio quality animation you're looking at. But this is really not the game. This is telling a bunch of story. The game itself takes place in a 3D world. I'm going to get to a place where she's running around. Here we go. It's a little jarring actually, because the world itself, while not uber realistic, it's still stylistic. It's nothing like cell animation. So it does throw you a little bit.
I really like the look of it though.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I kind of like the 3D, but then the effects are very like 2D anime style on top of it.
Yep.
I think this game's got a really good look.
It's got an amazing look. They're using Unreal 5 like everybody, and they've gone with a look that I actually hope more games do. I really like the stylistic, over realistic approach to stuff like this. You'll notice she's climbing on a thing and hitting it right now. That's because the boss fights in this game play a lot like Castlevania not Bloodlines. What was the 3D Castlevanias called? The ones where you could climb up on top of dudes and fight them. A little bit like the Colossus game.
Like Shadow of
the Colossus, yeah. There's a bit of that going on. Maybe not as massive, or at least what I've seen. Like this Drake she's fighting isn't that big. Apparently there's much bigger things later. But you climb on top of these things and do all kind of stuff. The art in it is amazing. It's very, very pretty. There's a little jank in some animation choices, and some of the combat feels like it just needed maybe a few more months of polish, maybe. It's not terrible. It just doesn't quite match the other visuals of everything. It's not a Souls-like. Although you wouldn't be, I wouldn't cheese you for wondering if it was, because there's a lot of stuff that's just sort of, I don't know, Souls-ish about the combat, anticipating moves and stuff and animation things. But for the most part, it's not that at all. It's more of an action adventure. It's got more in common, I would say, with like Breath of the Wild overall than it does almost anything else. I'm not very far, but far enough to think this is pretty neat. The reviews have been like 70s, 75s, nothing mind-blowing. But it was on Game Pass, and I was just like, I'll give this a try. I saw it in one of the showcases.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, seemed like something to give a shot, so I did. And I like it. It's pretty neat. I don't know how much it'll hold me. I did get really lost at one point, and it was kind of pissing me off. And I'm still not sure why I was so lost, so I got to go figure that out still. But I'm right about where this girl is, or where this run is. I say this girl, that's who you play. And as far as background goes, you're part of this cadre of essentially wizards, and you are of there are very few of you left. I think the implication is there are only women wizards in this world, And magic is mostly frowned on now, kind of Witcher style, like, oh, we don't trust the Witchers, and that kind of thing sort of going on in the world. And you roll around with this band to get stuff done. And the story so far is just that you've entered this place that used to be forbidden and was locked off, called the Veil, and you've infiltrated it, and now you're learning all about it. And it's very big and open worldy. Lots of enemy types.
You're not guarding this veil, are you?
No, you're not guarding the veil. You're not a veil guard, you might say.
I'll be like, sounds like familiar.
I forgot to mention the whole system that matters here, what they bring to the table, which is the magic system. Because everyone's kind of a wizard, you have this magic wheel that includes different disciplines. There it is right there. Different disciplines of magic: ice, fire, kinetic, all the things you would think of. But the fun of it comes in experimenting on combining them. So it's like she's doing right here. This guy's hard to kill. So she freezes him with a fire or with an ice ball and then drags him through the fire she made with her fire spell and takes him down way quicker than if she just was hacking on him.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Neat stuff like that. Not quite. What was that game that the Helldivers guys started with?
Magica.
It's not quite that level of like, do the math and figure out the best, buttons to hit or whatever. It's not like that, but it's similar to the creativity of that, of like, wow, look what I can do here. And
it's always a problem with magic is usually magic is press X to fireball, and that's the extent of the system.
Yeah.
But it's always fun, Chrono Trigger style, right? When you take elements and have reactivity. Like what if an ice spell intersects with the lightning spell? Divinity does this, Chrono Trigger does this, Magica does this. Very few games do it because it makes the systems complex, but like it's very satisfying when you have this like spell system that's like a toolkit like that, so
yeah, to me it's adding to the experience a great deal. And
so it does sort of have that where like spells react to each other.
Yeah,
spells.
for sure. Like there's
that's cool.
I like the kinetic stuff especially because I can make, like, for example, I kill these little stealth guys that piss me off. If I hit them with ice, they'll show up quicker. And the ice also immobilizes them, but they also make it a solid object that I can then switch to my kinetic, grab it and pick it up like, Green Lantern style and then huck him off a cliff. And that's the end of that guy. It's a great feeling. So there's a lot of that, like learning how, and you kind of learn it as you go. It doesn't hold your hand. You're just sort of like, well, this guy's a problem. How do I deal with him? And then you find creative ways to deal with it. It's got, some difficulty sliders in case people are struggling or whatever, but it's not the kind of game that feels like it's holding my hand much. And I don't really have any beefs about it. It's beautiful and just looks insane. When you're running it on, proper hardware, this is just, video at 30 frames, but I'm running it at 120 and looking great on PC. No issues, no glitches. So anyway, I like it a lot. Again, it is called Eternal Strands. It is on Game Pass if you would prefer to play it there. It is also on Steam, I believe. Let me make sure.
Yeah, I was seeing it on Steam here. I'm watching.
Oh, PlayStation as well. So PlayStation 5, all the Xbox stuff, of course. And what was the other? And then Game Pass. Oh, it's also, I don't know if this matters to anyone, but armor and weapon set stuff designed by Yusuke Mogi from Square Enix's Creative 3 studio. I don't know which studio. I don't know what they do. But that's
John, what team is that?
Yeah, John.
I don't know. I don't know.
Creative Team 3 is hang on.
It's like Sonic software planning. I have no
Hold
idea.
on. Let's
Creative
find
Business
it.
Unit 3. Naoki
Oh, it's
Yoshida.
creative. Yeah, that's okay. That is that
It's
one.
the
then.
Final Fantasy MMO.
It's the Final Fantasy 14 one.
Oh, no way. All right. Yeah. That's,
See, I know them as Creative Business Unit.
oh,
Okay.
Okay.
You got to say the
Sorry.
whole title, or I just assume it's something else.
Well,
It means something completely different. Yeah.
you'd
Yeah.
like that because the armor sets or the armor you unlock and wear and stuff, all very visual, all very like show up on you. Like, I know you like that a lot.
The more you talk about it, the more compelled I get about the game.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty
I think
interesting.
This game looks good. I think this game looks good.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad it's on Game Pass because I don't know. There's so much stuff.
So much to spend money on now. Save it.
Maybe it'll be my March game, my February game in March. Maybe
Yeah.
that's what.
This is
it'll
my
be.
favorite studio in Japan. Right.
Sonic Software Planning.
Sonic Software Planning. Fantastic. Good job, guys. Anyway, available now. Check it. I remember seeing it in one of our things we watched that we like did a live thing for. And then I remember just kind of bouncing off it and not remembering it was coming. And then here it is. It's out. So if you like Monster Hunter Shadow of the Colossus, stuff like that, this might be your jam. All right, moving on. This is a game that isn't new, but I've made a commitment that because it plays so well on my Steam Deck and because I have Steam Deck time, I am going to finally beat Celeste. I'm going to do it. I promised myself forever ago I was going to handle that challenge. I was going to handle it, and I was going to win. And I'm doing it now. I'm making it happen.
Step aside, Ghost of Tsushima. Pull over, Dragon Age the Veilguard. Hold your horses there, Metaphor Fantasio, because there's a new Scott in town, and he's going to finish a game.
I'm going to finish Celeste after, when did this come out? 2016? Of saying I would forever ago. Look, these guys, the reason this even came up, or the reason I even thought of it, is the developers have been 5 years working on a new game. It was just announced that they are dumping it. They are no longer working on that game. And that bums me out because this is a really rad studio. Towerfall and then Celeste, I mean, they were both just bangers. Whatever they were working on next, I was just so excited about it. And they said, we just couldn't find the right anything. This didn't work. We've decided to scrap it and start new with something. I respect the devs who will do that if it's the right thing to do, but man, I'm bummed not to play whatever they're doing now. But if you haven't played Celeste, it's a precision platformer, maybe the best one ever made. Think like, I don't know, Super Meat Boy, but with a proper story and maybe not as
the story to Super Meat Boy. How dare you, sir?
What
he has to rescue Bandage Girl. Okay,
all right, he does. You're right. You're
Professor Baby or whatever the hell his name is. Okay.
It was like Professor Baby, wasn't it? Or something like that. Or Fetus. It was Dr. Fetus, right?
Oh, Dr. Fetus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, how do you know that if it doesn't have a story?
That's a good point. I didn't think about that. It does have a story. Dr. Fetus is story enough for any of us. But anyway, I like it a lot. I've always liked it. It's a joy to play. It's also very frustrating sometimes, but extremely rewarding when you pull shit off. And I decided to give it more time. So I'm going to try to beat Celeste for real. All right.
For real.
We'll check in later and see how I did.
Okay.
I mean, who knows? I don't like my chances either.
We'll check in next week.
Yeah. Check in next week. Also, there was a sale on some boomer shooters. I'm always happy to try one of those. And I picked up one called Turbo Overkill.
This one's been recommended to me before, but I haven't played it.
People really like Turbo Overkill, and I don't even know. At first, I was like, "Why?" Like that name alone makes me want to kind of, I don't know, not like you. You know what I mean? Like, I just know how ironic they were trying to be, or whatever.
It's edgy in like a lame way.
It sounds like the CSI video game. Like, yeah, he killed that woman because he was into the Turbo Overkill.
Yeah, yeah.
He had the highest score in Turbo Overkill. It made him a murderer,
Well, as these boomer shooter type things, notice he had a chainsaw on his foot. That's an important thing. This is most comparable to say something like Quake, I would say. Not Doom or whatever. It's a 3D engine, but it's crusty and nasty kind of on purpose. It's cyberpunk storylines. We all like those. And a lot of it is kill tons of dudes and shoot a lot. That's really the game. And the weapons are really interesting, like lots of alt weapon abilities. So that's like Unreal in that way. And I mean, it's just right up my sort of nostalgia alley. Very fast, very crazy. Just run, gun, get to the next place.
Levels?
Yes.
It's like
and story. There's a bunch of story, but mostly it's levels like you got to go to solve this and get this done. There are boss fights in some of those levels. There is this ability he's using right now where you slide on that foot and you slice people up with your foot blade. It's pretty great. Lots of aerial stuff, lots of verticality. Fast to a point that it will take you a minute to realize to understand that this is meant to just be insane. Like the speed is going to throw you if you're used to methodic shooters. Anyway, it's great. It's got its head firmly up the butt of synth 80s cyberpunk vibe, blood, guts, just extremely violent. The weapons are very satisfying. I just beat a boss with a really cool rocket launcher, and that was fun. There's a level creator for people who want to get weird with it. And yeah, it's rad. This has an insane score.
So, did you buy this when you were asking me about Mullet Mad Jack?
I was looking at, so Mullet Mad Jack was on the list, but it wasn't on sale, but I was still going to do it. And then I saw this, and this is usually like $24 or something, and it was like $7.
Right, so it went out.
So I just went, oh well, I'll do that. That'll scratch the itch.
I don't blame you. Mullet Mad Jack's pretty straightforward. I'd buy that one on sale too.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to get that one.
But that's a good one too if you're ever in the mood.
That eyeball that keeps showing up in the video is part of the story. It keeps showing up going, oh, I see you've gotten past my next layer of defense. How will you survive the... Like they do lean into this goofy story, and that's nice because most of these quote-unquote boomer shooters that people make today, they're real light on story. Like the old shooters were. They weren't real heavy on story either, but this game's got one, and I like it. Steam Deck runs great on PC. Seeing this run at 120 frames is kind of delightful.
And now, are you sad you didn't buy the adult game that John played with the good shooting over the...
No, I'm not. I'm not sad about that at all, but maybe one day I will be.
To be fair, the reloading and shooting was very good.
True that. Anyway, check it out. Turbo Overkill. Apogee Software is publishing it, which is also great because they're known for, that's a legacy to be proud of.
Commander Keen.
And there's lots of little store kiosks where you buy weapon upgrades and alt fires and ammo if you're low. I mean, the game's more modern than you would think, like in terms of its systems.
Oh yeah, Rise of the Triad is Apogee.
Yeah, dude. Remember that? So good.
Well,
Are they still working on... What was the deal with that? Somebody was working on that and then it got delayed or something. Was it?
Oh, like a remake or something like that?
Oh no, it was Bungie, right? Wasn't Bungie making what am I thinking of?
You think there was a Rise of the Triad
like a new game? Am I smoking crack, or am I thinking of the wrong game? I thought it was Rise of the Triad because it was originally a Bungie joint.
There was a Rise of the Triad Ludicrous Edition official PC launch trailer.
Damn it! It's gonna bug me.
I don't know.
Triad new game.
I think there was a re-release or a remaster called Ludicrous Edition.
There was something announced by Bungie at a Sony event, and they showed it. Chat maybe is yelling, Marathon! Always look at the chat, Scott. Jeez, of course somebody knew.
Marathon.
Marathon is what Bungie was working on, which is a Bungie game, not Rise of the Triad. You're right, that's Apogee. Anyway.
But it is a shooter game being re-released.
Yeah. Although it sounds like something's wrong, like they're snagged. Well, all those layoffs, who knows?
Layoffs and all that.
Yeah.
Who knows if it'll survive?
Looked really neat when they showed it, but whatever. That is what Scott played. Bunch of other little things here and there I don't need to talk about because it's just continuations of things. That Time Wasters game, I'm really far into that. The one that I hate the name of, but I like the game. The Vampire Survivors with the spaceships. Very good. That game got me pretty hooked. I like it a lot. Anyway, John, let's swing it over to you. You played a game that I wish I was playing, but I didn't know you could yet. But apparently you can.
I didn't know either. Somebody posted in our Discord and then deleted it. Like they had forbidden knowledge that they wanted to keep from the rest of us.
Wild.
That apparently if you got one of the more deluxe editions of Civilization VII, apparently that came with early access, which I did not know. I'm a chronic, I need that Civilization buyer. So when it comes with DLC and stuff like that, it tends to feel like purchases that I will eventually make anyway.
Yeah, so you're going to spend that money now or later, right?
Yeah, so I sprung for the better version. I didn't know that came with a early access to the game. So I've started my first game of Civilization VII, and I think that so far what I've seen about this game is probably going to hold true. I think this is going to be a very divisive entry for Civilization. There are things.
It's that time of the year again.
Yeah.
Hey guys, and the old ones are better. Okay.
And didn't you say this?
Get ready.
Didn't you say
be one that some of you like and some of you hate?
I swear,
new material.
I swear you had just said like 2 weeks ago, or whenever we talked about the games of February, I guess earlier in the month, you had made I don't know if it's a prediction or not, but you basically said like every Civ launch It's going to be divisive on day one because it's missing things that will show up in expansions or DLC, or it's a different take on a piece of it that no one's sure about yet, but it pays out over time. Like you said,
the religious system in Civ 4, or whatever.
You said this, and
Civ 5. I love Civ 5, and even Civ 5 got dragged for so long when it came out.
I just think John's a prophet, is what I'm saying, because he's exactly right, and the reviews are almost half and half on these same issues you brought up. So I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but you were dead on about how this was going to go.
Yeah, and I mean, my review personally is I'm feeling kind of mixed about it too. There are some things that I really like. From my experience, hey, they retooled builders again. Now what happens is when your city grows, you choose where you want your city to grow, and if you pick an area that has an upgrade on it.
Yeah.
So for example, if you pick a place that is got like a lot of rock, or you would normally use a builder to build a quarry, you pick that area to expand to, and the game gives you that. Like, it will automatically put that improvement where you expand your city. But you can't freeform constantly build, push out builders. It only happens when your city expands. So that I don't miss the 3 charge builders. I hated that. This system in particular, I actually like. I think it's kind of nice. It kind of lets you strategically expand your city without having to just buy extra tiles, which is what you could kind of do in the past. I do think that this game is sticking with things I really like about the new game. New narrator is awesome. I like the narration. I like the quotes. All that looks good. The look of the game is really, really nice. The fog of war. So instead of doing that, sometimes they've done a literal fog. Sometimes they've done it where it looks like a map and it kind of fades in. Now they have these really fancy looking, like, tiles that when you explore, they flip over and are now no longer blank tiles. They're now terrain. I think it looks awesome. I think the fog of war in this game looks really, really good. The game is running a lot faster. I have multiple times, because I played Civilization VI not too long ago, multiple times I've hit in turn and sat there waiting, expecting a shit ton of things to happen, and gone, the game break? Oh, it's been waiting for me. It's been waiting for me to do something else because the game has proceeded faster. Now, late game, is it going to still chug when there's a whole map and a whole bunch of people making turns? Probably, but I'm not to that yet. So for right now, at least, it's pretty peppy. I think certain elements of the diplomacy systems and how you interact with others and the way you meet new nations and how you gain political power and use that to form friendships and rivals and whatnot, I think a lot of that has been streamlined in a way that I think is an actual improvement for the game. But it does come with a little bit of a mixed bag. I think the UI in this game needs a lot of work. I wasted a couple tech upgrades because I could not figure out what the UI wanted me to understand about how the tech tree used to work. One of the nicest things about Civ VI was that if there was a technology you were trying to get to, you could click it and it would show you and even select, like, here's the next thing that you need to build if you want to go on that tree. It doesn't do that anymore. So it's less intuitive in that regard. There is a little window that popped up that I accidentally missed the tutorial window on. I have no idea what this window does. It has to do with the luxuries of your city state. I don't know how it works. Every time I click it, it's confusing. I don't know why it exists. I don't know how it works. And there's nothing intuitive about the interface for me. And I can't tell you more about it because I don't understand it. All of a sudden, I got a new luxury resource. This window popped up. And all the luxury resources were under my main city, but it looked like I could maybe move them to other cities, and I couldn't do it. And I somehow took them off the city and then put them back on the city. I don't understand it. And it's because I missed one tutorial window, so I have to try and figure out what it was I missed and get back to it. So I also do see that one of the big criticisms is that there have been things that have been streamlined down and simplified for expedience, and there does feel like there are times where it's like, I just feel like I don't have a lot of options right now. I kind of feel like I'm locked, a little more locked into what I need to do. So I don't know how it's all going to pan out. I see the chat talking about, I don't like the idea of switching to another Civ at the end of eras. I haven't made it to the end of an era. So I don't know how I'm going to feel about stuff like that. So far, I do think it's kind of cool that you pick your leader independent of your civilization. I have no issue with that. And in theory, I don't hate the idea of switching your civilization up, because sometimes, like, it's been true historically in the game, sometimes you pick a civ where all their cool bonuses and perks aren't until several eras into the game. I think dividing it up where it's like, well, this civilization was really, effective in the early times, rather than having all your advantages disappear because you've progressed to a certain point in the game, keeping it relevant, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I also will say, this is part of where the discussion came from on people like this one and don't like this one and have issues with this one. I'm glad we're not getting the same game every time. As much as some people might look at this and go, "Oh, they changed it, and I hate this game. Give me Civ 5." You have Civ 5.
Go play Civ 5.
You can play it. Yeah. I'm glad that they are not just putting a new number at the end of the game, and that there are fundamental differences to the game. Yeah. Do I know if I'm going to like this? Because my personal favorite, if I look back and I go, which one do I think has been the best experience? I probably am a Civ 5 guy. I think Civ 5 post all its DLC and all of that is probably the best the game has ever been. But that didn't prevent me from putting almost the same amount of time in Civ 6. And I'm really looking forward to diving into Civ 7. I didn't spend a bunch of time going, "Oh, I don't like this. I don't like this. I better go play Civ 5." I'm going to play a bunch of Civ 7. That's what I'm going to do. Yeah. So if you like Civilization, get in and try it. Maybe don't spend $100+ on it. Maybe just play it when it comes out or goes on sale if you have concerns. But if you like Civilization, I think you'll find something to enjoy here. You might not enjoy it as much as past versions. You might enjoy it more because, like I said, I've seen reviews to both sides of it. I've seen some people say they dumbed it down way too much, and I've seen some people say that, like, hey, they made a completely different game and I really like it. So right now I feel a little in the middle of both of those. Some of the changes I love, some of the changes I don't love as much. And we'll see where it ends up as it continues to get supported, because they always do that.
I can't help but think, and I don't have anything to base this on other than I just know how gamers work usually. If this had come out and been 6 with some slight facelift ideas, right? Kind of just the same game again with a little bit of tweak here and there, I think we would be seeing a similar divisiveness, but only this time it would be maybe not about UI issues and about streamlining situation where things are not dumbed down but made more obtainable by a broader range of gamers. Instead, the arguments would be, I can't believe they repackaged the same game and tried to sell it to me for $70. Like, we'd be having that fight. So either way, a game this big, this influential, and this important, especially on PC and in the PC pantheon of PC games, it's always going to be some fight at launch. Like your point about divisiveness at launch 100% holds. And I'll tell you what, I remember when 5 came out and how many people didn't like 5 on week 1.
Oh yeah, I hated 5 when it first came out.
A lot of people did. A lot of people hated 5.
I will say right now, my favorite one, I hated it when it first came out. I was like, how dare they? How dare they? What have they done?
Right, because 4 seemed like the pinnacle. But I remember when 4 came out and people were like, 3 did this better. It's like always going to do this. So the question is, did they do right by the series in making choices by really talented, like the people you look at who's on this team, talented, long-time Civ dev people. Like, they have been around the block. This isn't like they went over to EA and said, hey, can we borrow your Veilguard writers? This didn't happen like that. This is like Venerable goes deep. And they made the game that they made. And I trust that because it always goes like this every effing time there's a new Civ. Right? So It's fine. Maybe don't get, like you said, a lot of people wait a year to get into a new Civ game because a lot of shit will come out, tweaks will come out, changes happen. I don't just mean patches, but just like the game evolves every single time. So if you liked it better in its evolved state, well, then wait and play it then. It's fine.
Yeah, and I think it's gone both ways. I think 5 at launch wasn't that great. I think 5 at the end is one of the best Civs they've ever made. I thought 6 at launch, I was like, wow, they put out a really competent game right out of the gate, and I think the expansions for it aren't very good. And usually when I make a game, I turn them off. I'm like, I don't want natural disasters. I don't want
big same.
I don't want this religion stuff. Like turn this off. I don't want it.
Yeah.
So you never really know the direction it's going to go. But there's 7 of these. They're special in their own unique way. They've been going for a long time. If you like the series, get in and try it and figure it out.
The first couple can't be playable anymore, right?
What do you mean? First couple? Oh, the first 2 games?
They're runnable, but they're like not tolerable anymore.
Well, I'm sure that they're classics for a reason.
Tom Merritt says you can play 2, and you should only play.
Yeah, Tom Merritt thinks 2 is the bee's knees and will always be the bee's knees. But my take on that is there's still value in its retro beginnings and its innovations for what it was at the time and all that.
Are you really going to log into Civ 7 and be like, I'm going back to Civ 2?
No, Tom would, but no. Now, would I log into 7 and maybe go back to 5? Maybe. If I got in the mood,
I mean, I can see my Steam playtime, and I might say that, but my Steam playtime doesn't agree with that. I've put almost the exact same amount of hours in both games.
Or there are times I want to go all the way back to Alpha Centauri and play that again.
Sometimes I want to just load up Civ 3 and listen to the theme song.
If there isn't a substitute, then maybe that makes sense, like, obviously, but,
it's a good point. I mean, John, how do you feel about the music? I was going to ask about that.
You know what? I noticed Gwendolyn Christie doing the voiceover, and I think she's doing a great job, but I didn't notice the music. There's no Baba Yetu or anything that really stood out to me. I haven't noticed it. It hasn't jumped out at me. So
same dude. So was just curious.
My first Civilization leader was Lafayette, and it was 100% because of Hamilton. And I was like, when are they going to do a Hamilton skin pack for these historical leaders? and I can just play that version of
Wait, was Lafayette the nation's France then with him, or is it?
Well, no, because you pick the nation separate. He's Lafayette of Greece in my game.
So that's new, though, this time.
Yeah.
Right, and the ages thing is new. So you could, in theory, start with who's the equivalent of George Washington this time? Who they pick? The American.
Benjamin Franklin's in there.
So if you choose Benjamin Franklin, you could do him, the Persian Empire, and then with this new ages system, that could swap like 3 times later, right?
Yeah.
And then he's still your guy, and then
he could still wind up in America.
Yeah.
It just depends. It depends on how it all goes.
And then what I read, the reviews that I read that were the most in-depth were the ones that said the end game here is really the big winner. It's more fun than they've ever been. Like the game.
Well, that's good, because the end game historically in Civilization is not fun.
Yeah. That's been my experience as well. So
you're supposed to just play a limited amount of turns, right?
Yeah. And this is a little bit.
Turn 500 and the game's over. Whoever has the most victory points wins.
Yeah. And I hate that limitation. Even though I rarely get there, I hate it. Sometimes I'll do longer turns.
The alternative is you put 2,000 turns on and goodbye a week of your life playing it. Not a bad thing, but the couple of times I've done it, it's been like, oh my God, I signed 2,000 turns judging by the first couple hundred seems like, oh, this game should be short. But when you realize how granular and big the world gets towards the later stages, it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I will say one thing I noticed. And it's not make or break for me, but I'll say it in case it's make or break for someone. I would say this game feels like it is inching up on, when I looked at the number of civilizations and civilization leaders, and it's a little tricky because you're picking different ones through the eras, so naturally the list is going to seem smaller. It felt small. And by feeling small, there is that little part of my brain that goes, boy, they're going to be trying to come after additional money for us this time, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yeah.
Get ready to get nickel and dimed for things that were standard in other games. I don't feel like that's what I always said about Diablo is you'll know if you're being taken advantage of. I feel like we are dancing on the cusp of being taken advantage of.
Yeah, because there's a ton more coming. You just know it.
I think we're on the edge of it. I don't know if we've crossed it. For some people, that'll be a definite yes. For other people, maybe not yet. But I feel like we're skirting that knife's edge right now.
Yeah, is this like Civ VI, or will it be like Stellaris, where for the next 20 years they're getting money out of you? I don't know. Or Versalis, Universalis, was that 4? Whatever that is. The same people that do Stellaris. Those guys still, that game came out in like 2014, or I don't know what it was. And they still put out DLC. It's like, hey, new race.
Yeah.
You got $15? Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how this goes. I'll be honest, now that one of us have played it and we talked about it a bit, I think I will be grabbing it on launch day. A lot depended on your thoughts or whoever played it. To me, what you've done is just confirm what we were all thinking anyway. So it's just like, hey, early days.
Yeah, I'm having fun with it. It's a Civ game. The only thing that made me stop playing last night was a fear that I was going to one more turn myself into a mistake. And the fact that I really worked hard diplomatically to have a good friend, and he betrayed me. And it was very hard for me to recover from that because I just finished a war. Yeah. I just made peace because some dickhead showed up called the World Conqueror. And I was like, well, this guy doesn't have my best intentions in heart. He called himself the World Conqueror.
Yeah.
He's not looking out for me and mine. So you have the option to give, when you meet a new civilization, you can give them a warm greeting, a neutral greeting, or a negative greeting. And he showed up and I gave him a neutral greeting because I didn't want to be a total dick, but I was like, I just wanted him to know I'm watching you. And I'm aware that what World Conqueror means, and I'm on to you. And then he settled really close to me. So I built a civilization really close to him because I was like, you can do it, I can do it. And then he got extra mad at me. So then I denounced him, and I had a buddy on the side, and I thought me and him would be tight. And then after this war ended, that buddy turned on me, and it hurt.
Yeah. And then you were like, I'm going to bed.
I was like, I should go to bed. I'm getting really upset about diplomatic issues right now. I should go to sleep.
Diplomatic immunity. That's when you go to bed. All right. Well, that's fantastic.
Police officers. Diplomatic
immunity. I love that guy. Go watch. What was that? The second? That was the second.
Lethal Weapon 2.
Yeah. I always think it's one, but it's
a blast from the past.
Hell yeah. John, tell me more about your deep dive into No Man's Sky. You did a new start. You got a new ship. Your life is good in there.
Oh, man. I got pulled into No Man's Sky really, really bad. Every time they do a new update, I think, well, I'll get in and check it out. I could not stop playing No Man's Sky this week. It really hooked me, and it hooked me in two different ways. The first was I thought that a new expedition had started, which is kind of their limited time windows where you get very special rewards. You can get access to those rewards as long as you keep the save. It's a PSA for you out there, for anybody that's like me that likes to delete saves you're not using. If you delete the expedition of the save, you don't get to keep your items. So, rip all those cool things I had that I lost. But
yeah.
I thought I'll get in here and I'll get whatever this expedition is. And it turns out it was the expedition from around Halloween, which I was really excited about because the end reward is what I think is the coolest ship that I've seen in the game so far. It looks like if the Millennium Falcon and UFO had a baby. Like not any specific UFO, but a stereotypical UFO. Had a baby. It looks really cool. And so I started doing the expedition, and I guess as a result of this new Worlds 2 update, a part of it broke. And I got to a point where I could not progress any further. It wasn't taking a turn in. And I went, well, that sucks. All right, I'll just play my normal game. So I just started a new game and started playing around in it. And then I saw they did a patch. And I went in and I checked to see if the bug was fixed, and the bug was fixed.
Oh, nice.
So I went ahead and finished the expedition. Now, the cool thing about doing expeditions is it does encourage you to experience maybe elements of No Man's Sky that you haven't been engaging with. And as a result, I've done fishing now. It's fine. I also did the deep freighter expeditions where you find like an abandoned freighter in space and you land on it, and then you go through it Metroid style, like opening doors, and there's aliens scuttling around, and you have to fight your way through an abandoned ship collecting salvage and stuff. That was cool.
I'll bet it was. Sounds awesome.
It doesn't turn into like the greatest first-person shooter game you've ever played, but it changes up the gameplay where it's like you're in space, so you're very cold, so you have to activate these heater lamps to stay warm. Because you can't just recharge it like you do when you're on a planet. So there's this strategy of like, I have to move from room to room, collecting resources, turning on terminals. There was a whole puzzle about having to determine the fate of the captain and report him as, deceased so I could take over the ship, so I could gain access to additional rooms. Like a really neat little kind of self-contained bit of gameplay that gave a lot of really big rewards, which it needed to because it cost me 5 million credits to get the part to find the ship.
Holy shit. Jeez. I guess that's not bad at some point in the game. It's not that bad. Yeah. That's great.
That's a couple dinosaur bones.
Yeah.
A good dinosaur bone planet.
I do like dinosaur bones in that game.
So
it makes so much money. It's amazing.
Yeah, so I got to see a bunch of interesting things doing that. I got my awesome ship. So I was very excited to get that. And sure enough, kept my save because I learned and went to my main save, brought that in, and I have only explored like 2 galaxies so far, 2 universes, whatever you call it. And I've already made like 15 million credits. Oh, you're pulling up a picture of it. Yeah,
I was trying to find it.
It's not moving. I just posted a picture of it because I was like, oh, it looks so cool.
It is cool. It's kind of, I don't know, it's like the 60s. If the 60s is when we made Star Wars and that's the Millennium Falcon, that's the vibe I'm getting out of it.
Yeah.
Retro
It's got
future.
it's not a cockpit, but it's got one of those little things off on the side. And you sit in the middle, and the red light that you see coming out of it, that goes around the ship like a flying saucer.
Oh, no way.
It kind of pulsates around the ship while it goes. And when it flies through space, like it smokes and sputters out of certain vents on it, so it looks a little busted going through space too.
Love it.
Yeah, it's really good.
How's your storage and like component space and all that stuff in there? Pretty good?
Doing really good. That's probably the only area I'm getting hit is because I haven't gone to a bunch of different places yet. I haven't had a lot of opportunities to increase my inventory size short of discoveries on planets, but I got like 15 million credits.
Damn.
I got an awesome ship. I got an awesome gun because I watched Twitch streamers with
good Lord
rewards on. I got Twitch rewarded, a good gun. And I've been surveying a lot of planets, saw giant worms bursting out of the ground. And I was always curious about this because I'd seen them, they added them at some point, a couple things ago. And I had seen those like giant planetary worms that jump out, but I had one happen right in front of me. And I went over and looked, and there's a hole in the planet where it came out of.
Damn.
And I was able to jump into that hole, and there were all these caverns under the surface of the planet from where this worm had been burrowing. It was really cool to see and explore. They've really done a lot of work on updating the water, which I know is effective because it's scarier to me. As somebody that gets afraid of things in water, I'd gotten that water, and it looks good. And it gets appropriately dark, and the lighting in it is really good. I was like, "Oh, this is good." I'm a little terrified,
a little freaked out, yeah.
And then I didn't do myself any favors by going and plucking something and causing an abyssal horror to burst out of the ground and attack me by grabbing it. Yeah. I knew it was going to happen. It was red. They were warning me as best they could. They're like, "Hey, maybe be careful." I was like, "Yeah, but you know what those sell for?"
Oh yeah, that huge money.
So
they're deep too, right?
Cool.
The ocean stuff goes way, way, way down because they want you to go there and explore and stuff. Yeah.
You can go way deep. The water effects on the surface are really cool. If things hit the water, it ripples and bounces. I saw somebody say that they had a meteor hit the water near them and it caused like a tsunami just by the way that the math worked. It caused this massive wave on their planet. Damn. And just showed water rising up over the ground for them. That looked really cool. I got the ability for my ship to land on water, which feels really, really cool, especially because, normally when you land and get out of your ship, you pop up right on the side of your ship. But if you land on water, it pops you up on top of it. So you stand on it like it's now a boat.
That's cool.
And you can fish off of it. If you want to fish off of your boat, you land in the middle of the ocean and just, plop your ship in the water and fish off of it.
Bo, you like fishing? You want to get in there and get some fishing done?
Nope. I hate fishing.
Yeah.
Worst thing in gaming.
Worst gaming. Yeah. You feel about fishing the way I do about tower defense, I think. Bo's about my.
I think I might hate fishing more than you hate tower defense.
Jeez, that's deep. That's mad hate.
Because here's the thing. Tower defense is a genre.
Yeah.
You can avoid it.
Yeah.
They put fishing in freaking everything. There's fishing in my vampire game.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong. Like it's almost like, I don't know. I don't want to be too insulting or anything, but it's just like people can't help themselves. They're making a game. They're like, we can put fishing in here, and everyone for some reason says yes.
It is a dark tendency to put a bunch of fishing and shit.
Come on, man! Like,
if Bo ever comes and visits us, we should take him fishing.
Yeah, we should go fishing on like the Colorado or something.
I've been fishing. I fished. I know how boring it is in real life. I did a lot of it as a young man, as a kid.
Yeah,
I had family who loved fishing.
Yeah,
I'm just saying it's already boring enough in real life. Why does anyone need a video game version of the world's most boring pastime? It's just beyond me.
Damn, dude. Well,
sorry, I didn't mean to derail the review of the game, but yeah, like real L for Hello Games here, putting fishing in their space exploration game.
I think it's decent. It's a decent fishing game.
That's what everyone says. Yeah. That's the problem.
It's fine.
There's no resistance. Everyone's like,
that's because most people don't care. You care weirdly about it.
I mean, crunches in Final Fantasy sound worse than
precious
fishing.
Resources are spent making that when you could have added a new monster type or something like, F fishing.
It's like there's a whiteboard in an office room, and it says fishing / or a new monster type. What do we want to do? Everybody vote. And like at 2 a.m. eating pizza, everybody finally ended up on
everyone
fishing.
who likes fishing in video games, I'm convinced, has never really fished. Maybe
my understanding is the fishing in No Man's Sky was created based purely off of fan art somebody sent.
Really?
Of someone fishing on the back of their spaceship on one of the planets.
Bo hunt
and they
that
were
guy
like,
down.
That's cool. We should put that in the game. And so whoever that is, they work for the fishing Illuminati.
Yeah.
It should be 100% out of games completely, because there are contexts in which it makes sense. Like, maybe Stardew Valley.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Man, it's boring.
I hate the fishing minigame in Stardew Valley. It's one of my chief complaints about that game. I hate it.
It's just like, here, click a thing and now wait.
If they let you just toss it,
you got to time perfectly after waiting and being bored for a minute. Like,
I agree with you. If they
there's be all fishing.
There's some games where you can just toss it in. Like a ring will immediately go, and you time the ring. You hit the button right as it gets to the ring that it's supposed to end in, and then you pull a fish out. I can do that, but I'm with you. I don't need all the waiting.
Tifa's crunches, dude. Like, that's real fishing.
Like catfishing. Yeah.
But I like that Bo's like so put off by a passive, boring activity when the dude won't even play story-driven games because he's so into his other second screen experience.
I mean, I play games to get a jolt of adrenaline and dopamine.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You play games that are boring, basic chores disguised as something more interesting. You basically play games that are based on fishing, gussied
wait till you see the Dracula fight, okay?
You play all the games you like is fishing wearing a mask.
I played Overwatch this week.
Wait a minute. Oh yeah, you did. You needed that adrenaline thing. But you fought Dracula in V Rising? Like the Dracula?
Yeah, Dracula's the last boss. Look, it has the farming survival game element, but it has awesome combat.
I need to know more. All right, we're getting to you in 1 sec. One final note here. Quinn Quimbazi sent you a game, John. I was about to be mad and said, don't you know we have 3 hosts? But I already have this one too.
Yeah, you both do.
We both have it.
You haven't worked off you haven't earned the right to say that yet. We're still working it off.
Yeah. It's a fair point, but I thought this was the sequel, the new one, the one everyone's raving about, and I was like, what the hell, dude?
Oh.
But no, it's not. It's the old one.
No, I was gifted Kingdom Come Deliverance, which I have not had a lot of time to play. This game is gonna have to do some work to win me over. I'm gonna say that. I know it plays in the realm of realism, which is already tricky for me. Like that's a hard no in the realm of shooters. If it's like, well, you're going to be a soldier and you're going to fight terrorists. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to be bored.
I'll be not playing your game. That's like fishing for John.
I'm not interested. However, if you do go back far enough in time and you say, okay, well, it's going to be medieval, I get a little more interested. That doesn't change the fact that I'm constantly like, but what if there was a dragon or a troll or anything other than other dudes? So it already has that hurdle to get over.
There might be lepers in the game.
But I think I could like it. And I kind of like what they're going for. I kind of like the vibe. And I kind of like the look of the menus and all of that. But there's one thing this game does that is, I immediately looked for, I was like, where's the accessibility settings, please? Yeah. And it's not there. And I don't know if the sequel does it, because if this might be the one exception where I was like, oh, just put me in the sequel. This is one of those games that really animates everything in a way that is distracting. It's like, hey, pick that cheese off the table. And it's not just like an animation of the cheese going up or even just your hand going up. The camera has to like bob down and like, oh, as you grab the cheese. And it's like so much motion. I don't get motion sick, but I was like, as I'm walking around and my head's like bobbing like crazy, it's like, there's something weird going on in this game that is really bugging me with how it moves and plays so far. And I don't know if it's an effort to feel more simulation-y, more real, or what it is, but it's distracting me at the moment. It is something that
slider in the settings.
If there was a slider, I would turn it off immediately. Whatever it is a slider I want to toggle. I check the settings. It is not there.
Head bump sucks. Yeah, head bump
So
sucks.
I am going to have to overcome that if I want to play Kingdom Come Deliverance. But from the premise, an RPG set, medieval adventure, super realistic, I'm not opposed to, and I do want to give it its fair shake. So that is my plan. It may become a Steam Deck game. Maybe
fair,
I won't mind it as much on the Steam
Yeah,
Deck.
Red Dead Redemption doesn't have like dragons and stuff, and can
right. And I love Red Dead Redemption. Yeah.
I would put it more almost in that category. It just leans more Skyrim than GTA is the difference.
Yeah.
I think
if this was third person, I probably wouldn't be having this issue, because I could watch a character animate this way, but when I'm a part of the camera, I'm like I feel like I'm on a friggin' gravel road just walking around.
I do prefer third person in these kind of games, but the new one's getting such insane reviews, and the fandom for the old one is pretty palpable. I feel like we're gonna have to play this game this year.
Yeah, I want to give it a try. I do want to try the sequel. I will say, somebody reach out and let me know, how much is the sequel like a direct sequel, or is it the kind of game that you can go immediately to?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the protagonist is the same character. So
okay,
I don't think so. I thought it was a new guy. No, I thought
no, because I recognize him. He looks exactly like the guy from. I played a little bit of the first game, like all of 40 minutes or whatever, but it's him.
I thought you start as nothing again, like a peasant, and you work your way up again.
No, you play a person.
Okay.
Yeah, like you're a person with a name, like you're James Marsden or whatever. You're such and so.
Also, I don't know if I should be playing with a controller or not. It works with a controller, but I don't know if I should be. It feels like it's not supposed to be.
Hold on a second. James Marsden's the actor that's in the Sonic movies. John Marsden is the actor.
Oh, what? Okay, that's close. That's close.
Just for clarity's sake. Sorry, John. What? Sorry, I cut you off.
I just was saying I don't know if I should be playing with a controller or not.
Only real Yakuza play with a controller.
I have heard.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a Yakuza situation or not.
I have heard that it is very good with controller, but I didn't ever try it, so I don't know.
Okay.
One thing I do know about the combat is like the sword, which direction you're swinging, you have control over it. It's not just press X to attack. It's like, I don't know how they do it with controller. I'm just aware that like you can swing this way or this way or this way, and that affects your, like it's got an in-depth combat system for a first-person game. So.
Oh, I didn't realize it did that.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Thank you, Quimbazi the King. Bo, V Rising, finished.
All right.
Finished. How is that even a possibility that you have finished a game that has no? Well, I guess it does have a finish because you got
one
there.
of my lines got deleted.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, we deleted your line about Final Fantasy because we talked about it.
I played Final
already.
Fantasy. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I was like, what the hell? All right.
Get rid of your stuff.
Yeah, I played V Rising, and I'm finally sort of done with it, at least from a single player perspective. I have reached the pinnacle boss of Dracula, which you're now showing on the video version for audio listeners.
Mm-hmm.
It was a hard fight. It took me, dare I say, 20 attempts.
Jeez.
Solo. He is no slouch. This guy's hard. And I've got max gear. I've got all legendary weapons equipped. 100% quality blood. Even tried it during a blood moon, which helps, it doubles the quality of your blood, so it's good.
Wouldn't it help him too? Wouldn't Dracula benefit from a blood moon?
Yeah, you're probably right. But I don't know if the game does that or not. But one of the toughest things about the games is that the enemies, the projectiles, a lot of games do this. There's a slight homing effect to a lot of things. So if something's coming at you, you can't just walk out of the way sometimes. It might curve and actually still get you. Just a little bit, enough to feel like that's bullshit, but also it's fair and dodgeable. It's just, it is a real skill tester for a game like this. I was looking at the achievements and like only 5% of people who bought the game actually defeated Dracula, which is, this game did sell in the millions, or maybe 8 million. But yeah, tough boss fight, and it felt good, like finally beating him. The chat room definitely helped me pick out some spells. I'm using a frost shield there, which definitely improved things, and a life leeching spell. Which
Are you in his castle here? Just
yeah. He has this zone. There's this zone where Morchim, where it's mostly just like Draculan. And, he has like this castle. You actually step into another realm and fight him. Huh. There isn't a lot of story. So like, what's going on? I don't know. He just says, "Oh, you're just a little shard of me. Let me suck your blood. So I'll, take your power." Yeah. And the whole idea is you kill him instead.
Damn.
So he's the V Rising Dracula. He's not Castlevania Dracula.
No. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't play enough Castlevania to know lore and shit. Like
Did he
Simon
call you
Belmont's
a miserable pile of secrets?
No, but like Simon Belmont's in the game, and he's clearly the Castlevania Simon Belmont. Like he has the big like stupid cross and everything. Like it's kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do have the Castlevania cosmetic pack, so it's like there's official crossover material. But I think even if there wasn't, of course Dracula would be the last boss in a vampire game. You know what I mean? Like that's. I'm taking his place as the ruler of Vadoran or whatever the world is called. So,
what about
those things home? See how they like curve towards me? Like it's so annoying. That phase that you're showing is so annoying.
Never forget this moment in that.
Sarcasm. For what profit is it to a man if he gains the world and loses his own soul?
Yep, Dracula. That's from Symphony of the Night.
Yeah,
Bo's like,
talking. The boss fight takes 5 to 10 minutes, so it's a long boss fight. I enjoyed all the boss fights. It's like the strongest part of this game is just like doing the V-Blood hunts.
That was awesome, dude. I played this stupid thing, and Bo says, "Yeah, anyway," and kept talking. That was amazing.
Oh, I couldn't hear it.
No, I deserved it.
Oh, you were talking?
He was interrupting. It's fine.
No,
don't worry about it.
Did you not hear? You didn't hear the quote, the Dracula?
No,
quote?
I didn't get any audio. I would have stopped. I didn't want to be rude.
Oh, no.
I heard some audio and then it stopped. So I'm like, I better stop.
Oh, weird. No, I like that. That was good. Anyway, continue on. It's not to interrupt. I just made me laugh the way you said
like this game. Had I played it last year in 1.0, I would have given it like Game of the Year probably. Or it would have been on the list for sure. This is a fantastic game.
Well, good.
It would have been in your empty spot on the Game of the Year list.
At least, and I might have reformed it. I don't know, but like I really I played this for 2 weeks solid, 2 weeks plus solid. Really enjoyed it, and there's going to be more content. They're doing a content patch, so I'll be able to come back, and that's exciting. And I'm going to try and do multiplayer now that Baldur's Gate's done, and do these bosses on brutal difficulty with friends. But I'm sad. Like I'm just like, oh man, I have no more V Rising to play. Like I'm out of content.
How's the fishing?
So I get my thralls to do it.
Yeah.
There's a zone where you can get fish, so I just send them out to do fishing because all fishing is stupid and sucks, including.
Maybe that's why they put fishing in the game. Maybe it's game developers having their thralls do fishing for them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because they're like, people log in to do stupid fishing and like.
It's like Ender's Game, but for fishing.
Yeah. Literally in WoW, if you're doing fishing, thrall can do the fishing, right? Look at that.
Yeah.
No, you can't get someone to do fishing for you in WoW. You have to do that shit.
It was a joke. It was a joke about Thrall, but you make a good point. You can't get paid. You should be able to.
I don't know what's going on with me.
You should get people in WoW. You should be able to have your minion people that you used to send on table runs or whatever. They should do fishing.
Oh yeah, and they should just remove fishing entirely from WoW. But anyways, every time I say that, I hear something from someone who's like, "I like the fishing." So
yeah. I did one of those fishing.
I'm sorry. I'm just like, I hate it. I think it's the worst. It's a scourge on fishing.
I don't think
if you're a WoW player, you're already predisposed to liking fishing because you're just playing a gussied up version of it.
What he's saying is the mechanics of WoW are just covering up a simple fishing game underneath it.
Oh, rating's just like really complicated fishing.
Yeah. yes.
In a way,
it is exactly the same thing, just dressed up to make you think it's different.
Yeah.
Yes. I understand that games are just press buttons, make things happen, interact with game world, and I recognize that fishing has that similarity. However, getting a stick with a stupid string on it and a hook and plopping something out of a body of water is just sucks. Okay, I'd rather do rating.
Yeah,
thank you.
I get you. I think it's fine to have these preferences.
Your point is not lost on me, John, for sure.
Bo, how's Overwatch? You played some of that.
I had a binge, and I'll tell you the binge. Speaking of fishing, I got hooked by Blizzard. Sometimes the Blizzard's got some pretty good cosmetics. One of the things they've done.
He not only played, he gave him money. Jesus.
Well, I just gave him Battle Pass money. It's like $10, but
that's disgusting.
Excuse me, Mr. Fortnite. Who gets every Mandalorian Star Wars skin every time.
Fortnite has not released Fortnite 2 as the exact same game yet.
Well,
when
that's
they
true.
do,
I'll accept all Overwatch criticisms, but don't tell me I'm a bad boy for spending money.
Play, sorry.
What'd you get? What'd you get?
So you know they have these mythic skins that if you want to buy them, their full unlocks are like $100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They now just have mythic weapons. And so what it is, you can equip it on any skin, but your weapon is this mythic weapon. And it's really cool because the weapon's the only thing you actually see when you buy cosmetics in Overwatch, right? Like you buy a skin that's like it's for everyone else's benefit, like it's like kind of lame.
Yeah.
But the mythic weapons are like supercharged, crazy, frilly weapons that they also want $100 for fully unlocked. However, you can earn it in game. You buy a battle pass, you get mythic prisms, you get currency, and you can unlock it and forego the $100, right? Like it's earnable by playing the game. I think that's mainly the point, is that you can, yes, they'll take your $100, but they'd rather have people logging in and playing. So Ash,
how long did it take you to unlock them? By the way, like a long time. Like
it's a long time. You got to complete the battle pass. It's,
okay.
I spent the day playing, having a good time. It wasn't like I was just farming it. Like I hate this just to get a gun. Like I was like, I started playing and I'm like, man, this is so much fun. There's a new hero in there, Hazard. He's pretty cool. He's like an English guy.
Healer, right? Or tank? Healer.
Tank.
That's right.
But yeah, I love Ash. Ash is like one of my favorites, and I was like, "Oh no, I really have to have this gun. I really want this Ash gun." And I was like, "Okay, well, the nice thing they do about the weekly quests is that if you miss weeks, you can still earn the rewards later, right? So as long as it's before the end of the season, and we're like 2 weeks away from the end of the season, so I can earn up to 9 weeks of points. So I can actually get points really fast without having to log in all the time." So I'm like about halfway there, Oh, I think you're showing the gun, right? Yeah, that's the gun.
Okay.
Oh, man.
They call it the Ashes Lead Rose Mythic is the name.
Yeah, so what it does is it has these animated roses on it, and then when you kill things, it'll like make cool animations, and you'll do a kiss and stuff. Like it's super, it's like out of control. You can't hear the audio cues, but it has its own audio cues and stuff. And I'm like, man, I really want this. I really want this gun.
Oh, they're for everybody has a version of this gun. You can
no. Right now, only 4 people have it. It's every skin can wear it. It's like you can equip any skin with any mythic weapon. So Reinhardt, I have Reinhardt's like super demon club.
Yeah.
That like makes these explosions. Soldier 76 has a gun, and Anna has a gun. That's it. There's only 4 of them in the game that are mythic guns. I really wanted the Ash gun, so I was like, damn, I need that mythic gun.
And so, John, this is getting you.
There's only 4 of them. Why don't they have more of those? What are they busy doing? Making a PvE mode?
They're still releasing season. They do it every season as like a draw, right? So, I'm sure there'll be more on the way. But anyways, that's what they have. So that's what got me in, and I started playing. And you know what? I was having a good time. I played Zenyatta. I get my play of the games, and I have a play of the game I linked. It's like 10 seconds, but I got the sweetest play of the game I think I ever got. I can almost quit Overwatch right now. It's not a ton of kills. It's just I punched Farah in the taint. And that's the play of the game.
Here we go. All right, let's take a look here. Shoot. Oh, right in the taint.
like I'm literally standing right underneath her, and I just uppercut right into the crotch.
That's fantastic.
I got some other kills, but I was just like, I was very happy that everyone in the match had to watch that on their way out.
I hope the computer gave you play of the game for the taint punch. That's what you hope, right?
I wondered about it because I'm pretty sure there was some other stuff that could have been play of the game, but whatever. Getting it shut down is obviously a pretty big candidate for POTG.
Yeah. Quick reminder, since I was looking at your post on Blue Sky, follow Bo at Bo Schwartz. You can follow me at Scott Johnson and John at John Jagger, right?
Yep.
Yeah. No underscore in that.
No underscore. I got here before him.
Yeah.
I'm more important now.
Nice.
And,
look at me. I'm the John Jagger now.
That's right.
Now that guy's probably going to Blue Sky going, God damn it.
enjoy your underscore.
Yeah, enjoy your underscore, jerk.
Way to be late to the party.
That's right. Core show also for the core if you guys, or for the show if you're looking forward to it. Before we get to this week's text, I'm going to do this a little bit out of order. I want to mention our Patreon. Patreon.com/core show. We got brand new people this week. Iman Neckett, Ed Mitchell, and Nathan Hanna. They're all beneficiaries of getting no commercials ever. No ads of any kind. Pre-show and post-show content. And monthly benefits that can be yours only if you sign up today at patreon.com/core show. Please do. You'll love it.
Welcome to the treasure room.
This is the wrong tab. That's for a different thing.
That's a good question.
Did that just say... Welcome to the Fraser Zone?
Treasure Room. It's from...
I heard Fraser Zone.
That's my new podcast about the new Frasier series on Paramount Plus.
Again?
Hold on, I'll pull it up. I lost it. There it is.
Welcome to the treasure room.
It's Treasure Room.
Okay.
I hear Frasier Zone too.
Fraser Zone.
I love that. I think that's great. I want to change it to Frasier Zone. Anyway, hey, we got this text here from a listener, 801-471-0462. Scott, when I listen to Core, will I have to pay a fee to hear Bo? He is one of my favorite Canadian imports, says an anonymous listener. He's, of course, referring to the at least 24 hours worth of 25% tariffs that were slapped onto Canada and Mexico, which were then lifted about a day later after, ironically, Canada basically just said, hey, we'll do all these things, even though they're already doing them, and then they got pulled. Anyway, it's all stupid. I don't care about the politics for this show. But, Bo, does he have to pay more to get you now, given the world circumstances?
Apparently not. Last I heard, there was a stay of 30 days on this whole business.
Okay, good.
So, but I don't think it's on digital goods.
Oh, that's good too, because I was wondering about our Patreon stuff.
I was worried. Well, so listen, the temperament up here is everyone's got their back up and wants to band together.
Sure.
To not buy as long as there's tariffs. It's like we're not going to purchase any American goods, right?
Right, of course. That's what tariffs do. That's what trade wars do. Is they make people.
And you've seen the news clips. Like, I don't like this. I love I have American friends. You among them. I like Americans. I don't want any of this to be the case. However, patriotism is what it is, and it's really tickling a lot of people's bones in that way.
Yeah.
So there's like a lot of conversations I'm having with people here. It's like, well, I'm not going to buy from Walmart. I'm not going to buy from Starbucks. I'm not going to buy this or buy that. We're going to buy Canadian. And so then I'm like, well, shit, what does that mean for video games? Because I'm like, I'm just like,
no digital goods.
I've definitely taken a stand on things or two. I didn't buy Atomic Heart because I didn't like the ownership trail going back to Russians firing rockets. But it's not like we're at war. I don't know. So I hadn't really thought about what I was going to do to resolve this because, it's like it's like one of those things where it's like, I'm like, oh, I do a video game show. It's like, oh, you're buying those American video games. Like that's going to be a dynamic. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
shit. I hadn't thought of that. Yeah.
if we go that for me, maybe not for you, although it could be for you too. You might be like, we're not buying Ubisoft games because F Canada, they're
Well, we already weren't. But it was for different reasons.
but there are different reasons. But also just know that is we're more like you. I'm more mad at America about this thing than I am about Canada.
The whole conflict is based on nothing, and I don't want to get into the politics of it, but there is that whole Steve Bannon flood the zone with bullshit that's going on, and there's bigger things that you guys have to be worried about than Canada, in terms of this coup that's potentially going on right now, right? Like there's a lot happening.
Sure.
So,
sure.
It's like it was kind of a wait and see. And then it got delayed for 30 days. So I'm happy about that, but I'm still not happy because I know, everyone's basically suffering or has their back up for no reason. Like 4 weeks ago, everyone was chill. You know what I mean? Like we're all good. Mm-hmm. At least with my friends in America.
Yeah, it's all weird. And as far as we know, like you said,
to my American friends, and then now all of a sudden it's a thing, and I think it's stupid.
It's not applicable to digital goods, though. If the tariff, even if it kicks in after 30 days, digital, at least right now, is not a thing. So I'm not going to have to pay a 25% tariff to have Bo on the show.
No. There won't be none of that. But, anyways, let's not get into the fear mongering until serious things start to happen, if they even do. But
bring Tim Hortons.
The whole idea that like we're going to become a state is basically a call to war. Like the net result is Canada's not going to give up, and if there's an insistence on going there, then it's like, are we going to get Ukrained? And then I don't want to imagine a world that elaborates to that point because I like American stuff and I have American friends, and I don't. It's the stupidest thing in the universe. Like, I'm just like, what is this shit? And that's why everyone's got their backs up, because like what seemed impossible is now becoming like a topic of conversation and a potential direction, and that makes me really sad.
Well, let's hope the stupid ends sooner than later.
That's not the case. Like, yeah. Anyways, so who knows? But not to get, again, too political about it, just because we're here to have a good time and forget about it. But this is literally an international show that's built on the fact that we can get along. And, it's like, it's such a weird thing just to be like, wait, am I going to have to like when you daydream, you're just like, okay, we're at war. And I've got to pick up the phone and say, I guess I can't do the show with you guys anymore. Or everyone here is going to call me a traitor, and everyone there is going to call you a traitor. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, it seems like fiction. It's so ridiculous.
F those dicks.
It's like,
who cares? F them.
I know that too, but it's so silly and stupid. But it wouldn't be the case if there wasn't what's going on right now and people actually taking it seriously. So I don't know. As far as I would do the show for free. John and Scott are my friends. And I don't think, unless we are in a state where we have to be careful about these things and there might be a hiatus, fingers crossed, or just, I doubt it, but I hope that doesn't come to pass.
Yeah. It's the worst part is that we all have to think about it. That's the worst part. Whether it comes to anything or not, whether it's all bluster or not, it doesn't matter. It's all like, we have to talk about it. It freaking sucks.
Like, all three of us are people that just wish the best for others. Like, obviously, I wish the best for the things in your country that would get better. I feel like it's also misleading that Canada gets put on as a big paradise when we're like, they have a healthcare system. It's so great to live here. It's like, it's cold. Our housing, like, we have tons of problems. Our housing market's out of control. Our politics are lame as fuck. Sorry, we suck. It's there's we can all look at the grass is always greener, and there's definitely a lot of grass is greener going on with the Canada conversation in your political spectrum. Yeah, and really, I just want what's best for everyone, listeners, and I want you guys to be happy. I want everyone to be friends, peace, love, and empathy, that kind of thing.
There you go. So, I like those three things. Yeah, we're all about those.
And no, you won't have to pay an additional fee, but we do appreciate you pay the voluntary fee on Patreon.
Absolutely. Please keep it up.
Helping to feed a Canadian and a few Americans, and what would white guys with beards do without your support?
Yeah, what would we do? No, we really appreciate it. You guys and your support is awesome. And I thought that text was great. Please keep them coming, 801-471-0462, or you can email us, talktothecore@gmail.com. The time has come to remind people that you can go to frogpants.com/core, and you must listen to your grandmother. Now rattle off the video games that we played this week. Grandma, are you ready?
I see you over there. You're looking at your second screen. You're thinking, oh, I don't know what games they talked about, and there's no way for me to go back. I live on the edge. I only go forward. I never look back. So now's the time to perk up, because I'm going to tell you what they were. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, McPixel 3, Eternal Strands, Celeste, Turbo Overkill, Civilization VII, No Man's Sky, Kingdom Come Deliverance, V Rising, Overwatch, and maybe Marvel Rivals got talked about in there. I don't know. It's on the list.
Oh yeah, you did. You put it on there, but we didn't talk about Marvel Rivals. But
look it up. It's an Overwatch alternative.
That's right. It's got Marvel people in it, and is not a company that got banned in any of these bannings. So I guess NetEase, watch your back. I don't know.
Shit, I sorry to interrupt, but I don't think Halson realizes we're recording earlier.
Who's Halson? Who? What happened? Oh, where is he? Did he say something?
He's in the chat room right now.
Yeah, Dave's in the chat. He showed up. He's over here for a convention, so he checked out the show, but he still was a little late. It's fine.
No, it's fine, Dave. Look, we think you're great and that you can listen anytime. That's the great thing about it. It's all archived, mostly for Dave. That's why we do it. So don't
We
stress.
wouldn't put this show up if it wasn't for Dave.
Fastly donated 50 of some currency type. I don't know what a D with 2 lines.
Oh yeah, what is that? That looks what is that?
Deutschmarks?
No, because they use euros now. That's got to be. I don't know what that is. It looks like an F with a FU. Maybe it's Finnish.
They said, "I'm an ally. Don't shoot." Both Scott Jones.
Oh, it's pesos. Pesos.
Oh, peso. That makes sense. Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, Mexico's involved. Like this whole. Anyway, we're not getting it. It's not a politics show.
No, but Bo will keep saying it
to get away from the bullshit. It's just. I'll be honest. We didn't really come up. It's been really hard to ignore for me. I'm having definitely derangement, like news derangement syndrome right now, where I'm just like, you know what I mean? Where
I get it.
Want to not think about it, and it's tough.
I get it.
I want to be that.
I totally get it.
Yeah. Shit.
Yes, Talia. Halson listens to the show, and then guess what else? Talia listens to the show. So should all of you. If you're not listening, do. And if you are, which makes sense because you're hearing me say this, go tell your friends. Let's grow this audience. Let's be the best damn multicultural North American podcast ever made that also loves our European friends and everybody else. We like African continent. We love we even like those Australians. They're in the Queen's prison colony. We still love them.
It's like watching the slowest car crash you've ever seen.
What other continents / countries do America?
Well, like South America, we like them. What else is there? Asia. I like Asia. The Antarctic.
North Korea? How is North Korea?
Yeah, the Koreans. They're over there in Asia, though. I mean, I'm thinking like where are the penguins? Antarctic and
Gotham.
The Falkland Islands?
Yeah. Sri Lanka, wherever you are, we love you all. Have a fantastic week. Please come back and do this again with us next week because that's where the fun will be. Until then, play some games. We'll see you later.
Oh, looks like someone just got their ears caught in the audio cookie jar at frogpants.com.